This is really the Fighter and the Kid.
Come on, baby. Big J's already got us laughing so hard with two stories we can't really repeat. Although there is a special on YouTube where there's an audible fart.
10:40.
At minute 10:40, an audible fart on this poor woman's special.
It took a pass. That was okay. Let's edit that.
Oh, it's so good. She didn't hear it, so God bless her. But tell the story about what you were about to tell, because it's just too funny.
About one-up liars in your life, people who, whatever you tell, wow, man, I just had my first threesome. That's cool. He goes, I actually hooked up with 4 chicks once, same time, like that guy.
My favorite guy. Yeah.
And we found this out about a guy who worked for Louis on his Louis J. Gomez on his street team when he was selling tickets and doing shows. And one night we decided it was me, it was Nate Bargatze was there, a couple of other Louis's guys, Dave Smith and me, and we went to a bar after their show, and we're like, let's all just tell crazy stories.
Like outlandish.
They're outlandish for us already.
Yeah.
And let's see if he goes up there. I don't remember everyone's except the few where I told that I even made it so like cartoonish. I'm like, yeah, I was down at the docks one day and 25 guys tried to fight me. He goes, and I was like, I didn't like win, but I was able to like get out. Like I was able to fight my way through. He goes, dude, I had a fight. He goes, the South Street Seaport Docks? Because I had a fight down there. It was like 30 guys or something. It was something nuts. He's like, same thing though. He's like, I didn't like kick ass, but like I did get away.
Always some asshole.
And then it was like, someone fucking so many girls. He fucked a few more. He had like a 7-some for someone else's 5-some and whatever. And Nate Bargatze just goes, he was quiet almost the whole time, almost like a mystery guy in the shadows. He goes, I killed a guy once. And this guy goes with his drink. He goes, dude, I got to take a piss. He goes, don't tell a story. He goes, I killed a guy too. And walked off. He goes, don't tell that story yet. I'm going to take a piss, but I killed a guy too.
Hold that thought.
I'm also responsible for murder.
Nick Swartzen would do that shit. Nick Swartzen would always do that. Be like, my dad was a fighter pilot. And he's like, my dad was an astronaut. It's like, great. Oh, man. I love that shit. People like that are...
I assume that guy's no longer on the team.
No. And I think he has a family now. But it was so long ago at this point. But it's... I
have two
by the way, his murder story, Nate's was great because Nate had to conjure one up when he said that. And he said he was... shooting bow and arrows in the woods, and it accidentally hit a guy. He goes, and I just left. He's like, so I just think I just left him there to die, or something. I think he even said it was in his leg. Like none of it made sense. Yeah. And this guy came back and said he got into a bar fight outside with a guy. In the fight, I think they say the guy took his shirt off and he was covered in like Yakuza tattoos, and he beat him up till he was unconscious, and then he left. And he goes, and this is my favorite part of it because he goes. He goes, the next day in the Village Voice, they said a Yakuza member found dead in the thing. I'm like, the bi-weekly arts newspaper? The Village Voice. He said, the Village Voice. I go,
that's what that investigator.
Yeah, you could get trans hookers in the back. And you could see what's going on in local comedy clubs and maybe an off-Broadway show.
Or in the Japanese underground.
or also reports on murders in the Japanese underground.
This guy's awesome.
With Kyle.
Kyle. Our friend Mitch went to his high school reunion. It was after 10-year reunion.
Mitch, the director?
Yeah. And he goes, and he's like, where's Fitzy? Because Fitzy was always crazy. Fitzy was the guy who would get on the hood of your car at 60 miles an hour.
Right.
And everybody's like, what do you mean? Where is he? He goes, he's in jail, man. I was like, what did he do? Selling drugs? And he goes, no, man. And it's like, you tell him. No, you tell him. It's like, well, fucking tell me. And he goes, well, he would go to Applebee's, and then the manager was this guy. He was a nice guy. And he lured the manager, after getting to know him, out to a cornfield, raped him, and then tried to kill him, but the manager got away.
Classic Fitzy.
So he's in jail for rape and attempted murder.
Classic Fitzy.
Classic Fitzy.
You were the rascal.
Fitzy. Fucking Fitzy. Fucking a guy in a cornfield. And then you had to try
this guy will rape a dude in a cornfield nuts, I mean, have him over. Just know what you're inviting over.
There's crazy, and then there's fucking guy to rape a guy in a cornfield. Crazy. And then try to kill him. And then botch that. Yeah.
And didn't get to kill him, so he got caught.
Yeah, so he's still in jail. So Fitzy's probably not a good guy to mix in with society, because that's what.
Wait, that was a real story.
It's a real story.
That's
Jesus
wild.
Christ, man. Well, you just won up Big J.
I just want a big J.
Yeah, that was much more violent.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know any
The Yakuza,
man-on-man
the
woods
accidental killing of a
rapists.
Yakuza guy is pretty...
The killing, yeah. That's true. We did lose a Yakuza member in my story.
Yeah, well, Sammy the Bull Gravano tells that story about how when he was working with Paul Castellano, bring up Paul Castellano and the guy from Purdue, the chicken Purdue guy. And Castellano's daughter had a boyfriend. And I guess the boyfriend was kind of associated. He was trying to be a tough guy.
You'd be real badass to date
Yeah.
Paul
Yeah.
Senior's daughter.
Paul, yeah. So, just...
Chicken King says he dealt with my mom.
Yeah,
I
so
dealt
check
with
out
him.
the chicken thing and then look at Paul
Put up with his
Castellano.
ass.
I'll fucking call him.
Yeah, just
Hey,
let me see some pictures.
Can I
of
get
that.
some peepers on his daughter, though?
Yeah, we will in a second. His
How
daughter-
gone is the mafia?
Okay, so there's... now
That's
look,
Sammy the Bull Gravano just on a podcast
wait,
now.
So wait,
Crushing it.
there's Purdue. That's Purdue. Good looking guy, right? And then there's Castellano.
Frank Purdue looks like he's wearing Freddy Krueger makeup.
Yeah, see, and then now that's Castellano up there. You see that? That's Castellano. So his boyfriend, her boyfriend goes, "You look like Purdue." So Castellano goes to Sammy. He goes, "Hey, kill him. I want him dead."
Because they look similar.
Because he
looks like
felt
her.
insulted
Yeah.
by that comparison. He goes,
kill her.
Kill him. So her
So you
boyfriend.
point the right finger, you know?
So he took his. So he had his boyfriend. He had his daughter's boyfriend meet the guys for some business deal, and Sammy the Bull goes. So the guy goes there. They shoot him, and then Roy DeMeo's crew comes in with suitcases
saw him
and
up, right?
briefcases. They saw him up into tiny pieces.
Just 'cause he looked like
takes
the
a
guy?
half hour less. They bleed him, saw him up, yeah, and they put him in, and they just walked out with that, and that was the end. Of
Just because he looked similar?
because the boyfriend said to Paul Castellano, "You look like Purdue,"
Jesus
and he was like,
Christ.
"That's a capital offense. I'm gonna have you killed and chopped up and disappeared."
He's definitely an uglier person.
I know that's your boyfriend, but he's got to go.
Yeah, sorry.
She was like, "Where'd my boyfriend go?" He just looked. I don't know, honey. Oh, come here. Good guy.
Yeah, now all those mob guys, because the mob, they're not shaking anybody down. I got an iPhone, bitch.
I FaceTime with Sammy the Bull.
yeah.
He's obsessed with him. He jacks
Well,
off
no,
to him.
we FaceTime. It's hilarious. And I go, I'm in traffic and fucking on the JFK, and I go, hey, what? This traffic never ends. This construction shit. You ran all of New York's construction. What the fuck is going on? And he goes, yeah. See, and he broke it all down for me. The Uber driver's like, holy shit. He broke down exactly how it all works. He goes, nah, we don't give a fuck if you sit in traffic. We got to make money. So we have the guys work for 2 hours a day because that's when traffic is not as big. We fudged the data. Who gives a fuck about you? I said, could you get away with any of the shit you do back then? He goes, no, everybody's got cameras.
No, there's cameras
Everybody's got
literally
cameras.
everywhere.
You can't do it.
That's when
Just
ended the
crippled the
mafia.
mafia. Yeah.
Cell phone
So,
cameras.
Steve
can't-
Jobs killed the mafia.
Yeah,
you can't.
You can't get away with a goddamn thing. I'm waiting for it to come to Mexico though, because those cartels are a little out of control.
Different animal, though.
With those
'Cause they
cameras
film 'em.
everywhere, though, I mean, we've yet to have the realism of like the SVU computer of like zoom in, fixed it,
Yeah.
clear it up, clean that up for me a little bit.
Yeah, just
perfect
a second.
picture of the
Just a second. There he is.
And we are in.
That's some bullshit.
Me and Soder would do that on the bonfire all the time. He goes, just going to move some things around here, see if we can put this over here, type in the screen thing, and we are in. It never amounts to anything at all.
Never.
The Philadelphia mob when I was younger,
You grew up in Philly?
yeah,
My wife is from.
they were like clownish by the time like I knew what they were
Just
at all.
no respect?
It was like, no, they were just like young people also. There was like the sons of all the people, and they would just like go to Atlantic City and fuck shit up and
Yeah.
but then get kicked out and have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like,
it wouldn't be like they
I'll
come back and
pay
go,
a
I don't know if
fine.
we know who we
Yeah,
are. They're like,
please.
we do know who you are, and beat it.
Yeah, I don't. Now they're doing like I don't know if all of them do it, but it's like drug trafficking and like human trafficking, right? Like there's no shaking
That's
down.
in countries that get away with it, like Russia, fucking.
Sex trafficking is big here.
Oh yeah, but it comes from places like Mexico.
Did you ever go, I remember in the handful of times I went to the massage places when I was younger.
Handful, just a handful.
Handful.
Yeah.
And it got sad quick. I also worked, I was going to say the thing with the mafia also that's like probably still going to some degree was I worked for a guy, if he was in the mafia, he liked to dress and act like he was. Although that said, he had a koi pond in like a townhouse, like attached to other houses, but his front had a koi pond.
That's
his little 3x3. But he ran the company I worked for that was at daytime you'd go dressed as whatever for kids' parties, and at nighttime it was bouncing for strippers and escorts at seedy bachelor parties or weird guys' houses.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
So the mafia's still around, like
That's
in
the
that
darker
world.
art.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
They never got your size, just sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
You'd be a good bouncer. Cauliflower ears, just a big kid.
Not too nice. Someone's like, "Come on, man.
No, you don't have to
I'll
be
give you
any-
the money next week." I'm like, "All right." I'll
No,
do
you
that."
just have to be quiet and just kind of look at him like that.
Yeah, he goes. If you talk to me, he goes, 7 days, right? Like, what's?
Yeah, I'm like, "Come on, I can beat him in 7. Be cool."
Just kind of,
Yeah.
big boys.
You gotta be willing to do
Kids
it.
to feed. I couldn't do
Yeah,
it.
that was funny when I did that job too. I didn't understand why. It's like a different generation. Like when it got like kind of like hairy in some of those driving strippers or escorts. I'd go back to the guy like, how am I by far and wide the youngest, largest person doing this? And it seems like everybody else seems to be like an old man. And I'm like, how are they getting out of these situations? And they were like, they have guns. And I was like, oh. He's like, you don't have a gun? I was like, no. He's like, you want a gun? I was like, no. Because I'll pull it out way early.
Yeah.
Of course.
The first sign of anything, I go, let's everyone just stay calm. The girls want to fuck tonight. Everyone stay calm.
Be
Well,
cool.
I like what Christopher Walken did in King of New York. He had just a gun here, and they try to rob him, and he goes, "Whoa!" And he opens his jacket, and he goes, "How about that?" And they were like, "Oh shit!" Just kind of, he flicked it. He just went, "How about that?"
That'd been funny if they just grabbed it and shot him in the dick.
Well, he threw them a bunch of money. He goes, "Come to the Plaza Hotel. Tell them Frank White sent you." And they were like, "Damn."
Did you ever play the great game? If one decision was different in a movie, it just goes like fine. We used to always say the like First Blood,
Yeah.
the first Rambo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he's driving in the car, if he just didn't have such a weird attitude in the car. And he was like, yeah, I just got back from Nam. He was my friend. I went to go visit his dad. And he just goes, Brian Denny, he goes, you like roast beef? How about I take you for the best roast beef? Just cut like 3 hours later. The cops come in and he goes, you got to meet Johnny Rambo. This guy's nuts. It's just,
so
if he
true.
just wasn't weird in the car at all.
Just don't be weird.
In the car, he was just quiet and like, and the guy was like, yeah, I think rightfully so. I want this guy out of my town. He's being
there's-
weird.
Dude, there'd be no movies if that was the case. There's no
I never
movies.
thought of that. That's such a funny bit.
A quick decision in the beginning.
Hey, answer me. How about answering me? How about answer the question straightforward?
Any like John Wick, there's no John Wick if they don't fuck with his dog.
I hear the fourth one is really good.
Really?
I don't fuck with
Or how
him.
about like
I
if
got
Ivan
this.
Drago just doesn't take the fight with Rocky? He just goes, nah. I'm gonna get a couple more tune-up fights before I jump in with the champ. He goes, what? No, you just killed my friend. This is the only way to solve this.
Yeah, I got prior commitment, man.
Yeah, he
It's
goes,
in
sorry.
the contract. It's a bunch of legal.
Plus, he's a
work.
lot smaller, so it's a lose-lose situation. I beat him up, I'm bigger. I lose, I'm big. It's a bad lose.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, it doesn't. The fight matchmakers wouldn't do this one for me.
I just watched Rocky again with my son.
The first.
Holds up.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Holds up. Fight scenes tricky because nobody's making contact, and
That's every movie though, even today's movie.
but the training montage is much shorter than I remembered it, and there's no sparring really. It's just
a little
push-ups. and
gayer than
running.
you thought, though, right? Little gayer.
Little gayer. But
They
it's still a
learned
great movie.
Rocky 2 is where they learned the training montage. When she has the baby, and so they still play that. The Sixers or Eagles could be down by insurmountable points with 24 seconds
Don't
left.
hit it.
And when she goes, I want you to do one thing. Win. Bing. What are we waiting for? And you'll think it was, and then they'll be like, all right, we're coming out of the break. 2 minutes left. Sixers down by 37. You're like, oh, right. But for a moment, like everyone was just going for that training montage.
Fuck, dude.
Are you a big Phillies fan? Like all the teams? Are you like a
of
huge
the
sports
spo-
guy or no?
I'm a big sports guy on the two teams I give a shit about, which are the Eagles and Sixers. The only things I watch.
So the Eagles-
I don't watch.
heartbreak.
I never
Super
grew up
Bowl's
playing
heartbreak.
hockey. Yeah, I went. Yeah, Bert
You went to
took me.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he took me. Shane and Mark Normand.
Bill
So,
Burden?
no, Bert.
Bert Kreischer.
Oh, Bert Kreischer.
It was like kind of a last minute offer he made to me, and I was like, "Yeah,
That's my
I'll
team.
go." I was like, "That's crazy." And I'll tell you what, leaving a gazillion-dollar ticket event when the team loses feels as shitty as when you just
Yeah, hell yeah.
paid for it yourself.
You and Shane Gillis were sad Panthers.
Oh
huh?
yeah, absolutely. That was
Shane
a
loves
bummer.
Eagles too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Like, we were doing those like sports emotion things too, and I'm like all week before we saw each other, I go, "Dude, it's so cool. We get to share this together." My heart is flooded with joy for what we were about to
We
embark
get to
on
experience this
together.
together, man.
This.
Share this together.
I wouldn't want to share this with anyone but you. I mean,
I had a guy.
watching hype videos from like 2016 on YouTube showing Bert's crew who has near zero inches. He goes like, "No, you got to see Brian Dawkins hits the guy like he ended the guy's like whole playoff
I had a
run."
guy said that to me. He goes, "When do we get when?" Instead of saying, "When are we getting together?" He goes, "When do I get to see your smiling face again?" Man, I don't know now. I'm so busy.
Remember that comic at the Comedy
Smiling
Store?
face.
Like, the guy
The
goes-
best.
we're in the middle of
Just the best.
conversation.
Let me
He
do
goes,
it. He looks at Brendan, and he goes, "I can see Brendan."
we're in the middle. It's like me, Rogan, Brian, Chris. We're all sitting there.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, it's good to see you. Yeah, well, I love what you did up there. He goes, "Hey, you know what? We live in the same area. You wanna play catch someday? Just gonna get out there in the park and just throw the ball around." And Brendan went, "What do you mean?" He didn't even get it. And he goes, "I don't know. Just get the ball and just throw it around back and forth. I love doing that. If you ever want to do that, I mean, we're in the same thing."
He's
Brendan was
certain
like,
it's code for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, wait.
Brendan just looked at me and goes, "Definitely." You're so great.
Throw the big skin.
And that comic is I love that guy.
Yeah, he's a
just
good dude.
He's a wonderful, innocent.
He knows
human
exactly
being.
what we're talking about.
I love that motherfucker. But
Just a sweet guy.
let's take a little break, buddy.
Let's take a
I'm gonna be
big
in
break from
Magoobies.
talking with Big J.
Yep, and I'm going to
Magoobies,
be Magoobies,
right outside Baltimore. buddy.
Timonium, Maryland, this weekend,
Great
Friday,
club.
Saturday. Come get some. Then I got Helium, April 2022. Where are you going to be before we get into other things?
I'm at the Ice House
Ice
this
House.
Saturday. One show only, 8 p.m. Shop and Friends at the new Ice House, Atlanta, Georgia, April 13th through the 15th. La Jolla Comedy Store. That's June 2nd through the 4th.
Wow.
Then I'm jumping across the pond, Belfast, Glasgow,
Belfast,
Manchester,
Glasgow,
London,
Manchester,
Cardiff,
London,
Dublin.
Dublin.
June 25th. Get you some. Thicccboy.com.
Let's
This
take a break.
episode is brought to you by BetterHelp, Brian.
BetterHelp. You got to take care of your brain, not just your body.
Dude,
and
kidding?
sometimes talking to somebody, your
helps.
friends, if I got problems, it's not the same as talking to a licensed therapist. It's not the same as talking to a professional. And that's where BetterHelp comes in.
They connect you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery wherever you are from the comfort of your home.
Well, you don't have to be in a waiting room.
No,
you don't have to
dude.
go like talk. You can do it literally. They can match you up on under 48 hours with a licensed professional, like online.
It's
and talk.
entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you gotta do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. You can switch therapists anytime you want, no additional charge. All right. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/fighter today and get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp.
You wake up and check your credit score.
Who does that, dude?
Okay, well, Chime does, okay? Look, if your financial goals feel out of reach, they don't have to be, okay? Chime's got a secured credit builder Visa credit card.
Wow.
You can start building credit with your own money through on-time payments and small everyday purchases like groceries, streaming, gas. Members see an increase of 30 points to their credit score on average. Chime reports your payments to the major credit bureaus to help you build credit over time, all with no annual fees, no large security deposits or credit checks to apply. So here it is. Start making your financial dreams a reality with Chime. CHIME. Signing up only takes about 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. So get started at chime.com/fighter. That is chime.com/fighter. Do me a favor and read that mandatory disclosure if you would.
can't.
Just read it, buddy.
No.
Just go ahead and read that mandatory disclosure. Do you have it's not a big deal. You're going into seizures. Okay,
I
look.
can't see.
The Chime Credit
can't
Builder
see.
Visa credit card is issued by Stride Bank. Do you know about Stride Bank? NA, and how about this? Pursuant to a license with Visa USA Chime
Keep reading.
checking account and a $200 qualifying direct deposit required to apply for the secured Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card based on a study conducted by Experian. I bet you, have you ever heard of Experian? Of course not. Credit Builder. Members observed an average of 30 points FICO score 8 increase after 8 months with regular on-time payments. Results may vary. Brandon's gone blind. Results may vary. See chime.com for details. Out-of-network ATM,
God.
only about a half hour. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply except at MoneyPass ATMs in a 7-Eleven. Did you know that? 7-Eleven? Yep. Or any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. So that's something. Did you write that down?
Chime.com/fighter.
There you go.
You've been all over,
Are you psyched about your
You're doing
special?
nonstop promo, man.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah. They got me running nuts.
What's it called?
I
What's the
self-produced
special
it. It's
called?
called Dog Belly, live from Skankfest. We did it at Skankfest Vegas last year.
Dog belly.
Yeah. It's from one of the jokes in it. It was named by Dan Soder, actually. when he watched it, he was like, "You should call it that."
Smart dude.
I was just going to call it Live from Skankfest.
Now, is your is the fan base of Skankfest? Are they? I mean, are they a very forgiving crowd?
Skankfest, they
No,
are.
I'm talking about
What do you mean?
the Legion of Skanks.
Yeah.
Fan base are so savage. They're savage motherfuckers.
Yeah, but that's his.
No,
Yeah.
but they're also like. Here's the thing. Here's the greatest thing about them, and the problem with it. We've made this like safe zone for like just fucking go for it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, 90% of them are just not funny. Do you know what I mean? That's why they're fans. So it's like they're going like even like their shittiest thing. Like for the most part, they think they're going for it. And I tried to, and I said that's a good thing too because they're like I get they're engaged and that's great, and they're the best comedy fans. And that's what I remember. My favorite thing with our audience was when the guys we fuck girls did Skankfest the first time. When they showed up, they were like, "Well, here we go. We're gonna walk into this like." Because they've had like shit with us on air before, we've gone back and forth.
But they're all great. Once you get in there, once you engage, they're great.
It's once you walk in there, not only they look at it as like, even if it's been like a tumultuous thing with them, it's like meeting Erica Kane and hating Susan Lucci. Do you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
it's not that thing. It's like no, you love Susan Lucci because she's
Exactly.
everyone like.
Well, that's why
even though we're all ourselves.
Yeah.
Trust, like in their minds, like they're so removed from it, where character isn't a thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so that's how. And when they see the characters, whether it's someone who they shit on or they overly love, do you know what I mean? They're so excited to see all of everyone.
Yeah, 'cause
no one's ever like,
that's why
are you
Lewis-
guys hanging out with the guys we fuck? Or like it's like, yeah, they're our friends.
That's
Like,
why Lewis was like, have Brennan come on the show. It'll be a blast.
yeah. I think they were hoping to have you guys at Skankfest. I think.
Fuck yeah. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
because all you guys are good guys. Like we work
yeah,
together. Dan's from my fucking same hometown.
I know, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
What a wacky town of insane things that happen there. I mean, throw a dart at a town that's had so much shit.
You talking about Colorado?
Aurora, Colorado.
A lot of school shootings. A lot of mass shootings.
School shootings. Essentially, the shooting at the Joker.
Yeah,
guy
that's
was
Aurora.
there.
Yeah.
Then a whole documentary on Netflix about a guy who built a motel in Aurora.
To watch girls.
His wife would just bring him food up in the attic so he could just watch girls and people
Really?
fuck.
I don't know about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he had cameras in the hotel room.
He didn't have
No
cameras.
camera, just holes. So
He
you
would
can,
just do it
see
himself.
through it. Yeah.
He didn't want to record it.
And
He wanted to
jack off.
watch it, and he would just lay in an attic with all the vents over them, and he would just go up there. And his wife would just like she was just a sad shit that she would just bring him out. She goes, "Here's your turkey." He'd be like, "Shh, there's a girl jacking off."
There's a gangbang down there.
He was. His name is Gerald Foose, and he's unapologetically hilarious about all this. By the way, he's not even now. I think he served jail time.
He's like, what? Yeah. Yeah.
Nah,
He's like saw a lot of pussy. It was cool.
I'm a peeping Tom.
Yeah.
One
was
time he
Aurora.
said there was a couple getting ready to fuck or a girl getting ready to masturbate. One of those two. And he was like that, and they hit the lights like hard off, like turned them off before whatever was going to happen. And he got furious because he said she was one of the hottest ones ever there. So he went and took his car and drove his car up to it's like a motel, you know. He drove it up to the window with his headlights on and then went back up.
The brights on.
He lit up the room so we can go back up there. He's like, better.
When they turn 'em off, they probably just hear, shit.
He said his tie would come through the thing sometimes, and people would look up, and you have to like slurp it back up the thing.
Ingenuity.
It's what all Aurora.
It's Aurora's
All
weird.
Aurora.
Aurora's wild.
Also, head coach, Dan's best friend's the head coach of the Dolphins, Aurora, Colorado.
Yep.
It's amazing, all
Yep.
this wacky shit.
Yeah, man. Some weird people.
What a
That's
known
right.
place, yeah.
Like that, he was a Smoky Hill cat.
McDaniel,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fucking right.
Man.
It's like
Yeah,
Soder's
those
guy. It's like
shit.
it's so funny to have. That's a position in life where it's funny having Dan know that coach because like the stories we have as children make sense as comedians now. You know what I mean? Like when you tell those weird stories, like it's funny to have this like official head of the NBA and Dan's like, and that was the summer we all compared dicks. Like, and you're like, the guy was head coach and
Yeah.
the guy who's got to yell at Tyreek Hill.
He's just like us.
Yeah, it is fucking weird. When your buddy goes big time like that.
Yeah. And you just know everything about him.
Yeah. Also like the background like noise of like having to be like, hey, how about your boy putting that quarterback in and his fingers going 8 different directions? Hey, maybe talk to him.
Did you text him about it?
Yeah.
That's why like a lot of like dictators like fucking Saddam Hussein, killed everybody from his childhood and who knew him when he was coming up. It's like,
Really?
yeah, I can't have that.
Should be a story. Yeah,
Yeah, you guys
exactly.
know
Make fun of
stuff
his
about
dick
me.
or something in the
Yeah,
shower,
you just
yeah.
know stuff about me. I
Yeah.
can't have that, so I'm gonna have to kill everybody.
Saddam, the kid who pissed himself in
Yeah,
geography.
that guy's got to go. He's got to go. It's, you know, in fact, his son was they tried to assassinate his son. Son ended up not being able to walk and then was on crutches and stuff. But tried to assassinate him. The guy who saved his son, who pulled him out of the car, and his son was in bad shape and stuff and got help. That guy, I think they cut his
killed him?
tongue out. Yes,
So he couldn't
they put him in jail and cut his tongue out so he could never recount the story about how his son was killed. So Saddam was a good guy.
Did you ever?
His hero was Stalin.
Right.
Yeah, he's like the what's the Kim Jong Un? Did you ever, with like the dictator type guys? Did you ever see the Rodman documentary
No.
He goes to North
when he
Korea.
goes to North Korea? It's maybe the Wild and Wonderful Whites is a close second.
Yeah.
Because a lady doing a line of meth and then walking past her newborn baby in the hospital and she goes, "Future Miss America right there."
I never saw that.
What? Hey,
I
what's
didn't see that documentary.
The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
I didn't watch
No,
it.
the
Johnny
wild and
Knoxville
wonderful
produced it
whites.
from about this family who are from
It's white.
Miss America
Boone
right
County.
there.
Boone County.
Yeah, it's that hillbilly elegy shit.
Yeah, well, they did. Well, there was a documentary years ago called "The Dancing Outlaw" about the patriarch of this family.
And is this in West
All
Virginia?
violence.
It's
just
in West
total
Virginia.
Violence.
It's total violence. It's
Yeah.
there a crazy.
A lot of inbred,
the
right?
worst.
Yes, and also but they also know how to work this. It's like a generations of working the system, so they're all on.
Watch this
She's
tonight.
30, by the way. That
So it's
one.
good. You're not wrong, by the way. She's the hot. They call her the hot one of the family. I swear to God.
That I believe 100%.
One of the.
I've been out there. I've spent time
There's a kid
out
at one point shakes a bottle of Oxy and goes, "Boone County mating call." That kid's got a podcast. He follows me. I feel like I might as well have been followed by a celebrity. I'm like, hell yeah.
County mating call.
Boone County mating
the-
shakes the pill bottle.
I've spent time there.
Gems.
I spent a lot of time there.
Not in the hills, not where they're
100%
at.
in
You
the
did
hills.
a comedy club.
No. So when in college, my buddy had a martial arts school there, Taekwondo school. One of my closest friends.
You don't
So
teach
we
these
would go
people
up there.
karate.
We would go up there once.
fuck?
Yes, we
This
would
guy
go
a
up there
terrorist?
once every 2 months, maybe once every month. We'd go up there, and it was the first time I was in college. It was the first time I had ever met real racists who had never met black people.
Sure.
And these guys were talking. They were like, "What you do is if they come at you, you act crazy because they think it's going to rub off on them. They think it's going to rub off on them."
And by they mean black people. Yeah.
And it was the first time I heard. I never forgot this. It was the first time I saw like what that was. That violence. Everybody has guns. Everybody fights.
Oh, yeah.
You were not allowed. You could not go to a bar in those areas if they didn't know you. You could not go. You would get stomped.
Yeah, there
It
are
was that-
gypsies.
Yeah,
There are
dude,
gypsies
for
over here.
real, though, you could not, if they didn't know you at a bar there, it was dangerous. And how about this? I was in college and I had a book on communism. I was reading, it was for my history class.
I bet they beat you up.
The guy said to me, we were at this Taekwondo, this fucking tournament. The guy said, "Hey, bro, you got to hide that man around here."
The book?
I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You got to hide that. You can't have that." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You'll cause a problem." And I said, I was with guys who would fight. I was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Around here, that would be considered, they think you might be into communism or something."
There's
I
no way
never
they
forgot
know
that
what it
shit.
means, but there's no way they were reading that word.
And they're right.
Check out a comic. He goes, "You into computers?"
Yeah. Well, Hillbilly Elegy is a book about this.
Probably the
about
first time you
violence.
saw karate in just jeans, too.
That is correct.
This lady,
They're not wearing a gi.
this lady who, so she rips a line of meth, goes in the bathroom, future Miss America right there. She goes home because the baby, of course, needs a little extra attention. When they come to pick the baby up, as with everything that happens legal to them in this documentary, they are blown away that Child Protective Services gotten involved. She can't believe it. They took the baby away. They come back in the car. She's hysterically crying. They took the baby away. The one that was bouncing on the trampoline takes them immediately to Taco Bell, where through the drive-thru she orders things that aren't on the menu and gets pissy about it. She asks for mozzarella sticks. Then she drives. I swear to God. Then she drives while they're waiting for the thing. They see a family they know inside, who know peripherally, I'll say is the word, because they seem like pretty normal people.
Yeah.
And she starts wailing the horn to get their attention. And they turn around. And they're like, "Oh, hey, through the window of a building, like a glass wall, not a window even, of a Taco Bell." She's screaming. She goes, "They took her baby. Her. She's crying." and they're through a window going like, okay, like they have no idea. It's
I gotta see this.
front to back,
I'm
one of the
watching
best
Wild and
documentaries.
Wonderful
Front to
Whites
back.
of West Virginia.
Front to back, a close second, maybe only is, or a close. It's a close second.
But
only
not
to the-
everyone's like that in West Virginia, right? It's just like a certain part.
I'm not gonna
Here's
say
the thing: it's like it's a part for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think the rest have to achieve much to not be that.
There
you
you
know what I
go.
mean?
There you go.
So if you pull the best of the
It's
best out
mining
of West
country.
Virginia,
Yeah.
and you throw them in, I don't know,
It's mining country.
a Chicago,
Yeah.
it's not going to go great. Yeah, no one's going to be like, wow, what a refined palate this person has.
Dude, what
What
a
a
shit
refined
show.
palate.
What a shit show.
Wait, what's your first
The
one?
bar is low.
What's your first favorite?
Dude, Dennis Rodman going
Oh,
to
yeah.
when he's going over there to keep meeting with to bring the basketball team over there.
Yeah.
And on the second when he comes home and he gets all this shit from it,
Yeah.
he was sober for a while. On the trip back, he just starts drinking.
I remember when he went crazy.
and gets he cuts the promo. Let me tell you something, brother.
Yeah.
These guys are opening a door to North Korea.
Yeah, bro.
Charles Smith, retired basketball players, X-ray hip, and whatever is going to go solve
Yeah.
it.
To a monarchy.
But that Ken Jung, right? He loves Rodman. It's his favorite player because the Bulls in the 90s, he's like obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah,
he'll allow
yeah, yeah.
Rodman to go there because they're obsessed with him.
Oh yeah, so he just loves him particularly.
Yes.
And he let him go.
weird.
He brings those guys over to play, but how drunk he just gets obliterated. Without even over
if he's
spoiling the
speaking
special, I'll
English
just
to
tell you this. He bows at everybody he sees, and it's not a bowing culture. He just does it anyway. And then he treats them like toys. And I'm like, look at this motherfucker, look at this motherfucker. I make him sing. And you go, no one knows what the fuck he's saying. What the fuck?
But bring up that picture there with him and Kim Jong-un.
Which one? There's a bunch.
The one
I
over
have
there,
to
over there
watch
with the group.
this.
With the group.
Oh, by the way, where he's
Down there.
crying right there
Yeah,
is where he gives a speech in
Look
the
at
middle.
that,
He's
right
giving a speech to Kim Jong-un and then goes, and it's his birthday. So I want to say, in a arena that's been built just for this game with a throne for Kim Jong-un, he goes, happy birthday to you. Audience has no idea of this song. So he's singing it with the normal like the melody of happy birthday to you. They start going,
Yeah.
like they're clapping nowhere in tune with the song. It's insane.
That's that. They do it rhythmically.
They just keep going. They just
Rodman's out of his fucking mind. And then I don't know if he's still doing. He's doing podcasts, and I was at the mall in Westfield, and he came up to me. He was like, "Glad to have you on the podcast, man." I was like, "Oh, cool. What do you guys talk about?" He's like, "Chicks. It's a relationship show." I'm like, "No, absolutely not, dude."
That's so funny. Really?
yeah.
yeah, he told a story on Howard Stern one time. He, like broke his dick fucking, and he's like, "Did you go to the hospital?" He's like, "I was tape on like tape." Like, it's like he cut himself, and he's like a carpenter or something. I taped it up, so now he's got that bend in his dick disease.
Apparently, he was normal until he got estranged from his son or something.
I think his son died. I don't know.
Oh,
if it was
really?
straight. I think his son passed away, and he started like
that's
dyeing his hair. Yeah, he went.
No, he was a weirdo a little because he was a janitor. He was a janitor and was like
That's-
doing some weird shit.
I bet his family's probably nuts.
Yeah,
Wait, he
I
was
don't think just
79.
the son
Hold on.
did it.
No, I don't know.
I mean, hilarious. His
don't think his son
father's
died.
name is, I didn't know that, Philander.
Philander.
I mean, that's hilarious.
Philander Jr.
I don't think his son died.
I
don't either.
Oh,
I hope he didn't die.
I named my son Side Pussy Oakerson. So don't get upset, bitch.
He only has one son? He's 6'6". Oh, his son,
3 children.
taller.
Did one die, right?
It just says nothing about the death.
No,
of
so maybe it was estranged then.
Yeah, I think it was.
Maybe I gave him too much credit for being a weirdo.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe Brian's trying to make us in a sad situation.
Strange
'Cause
guy.
He was a janitor, like bro.
He was?
Yeah, he was a janitor. Yeah.
So he was estranged from his father.
Did you ever see the the DMX, that documentary about him a couple years ago after he died? And they go back to like his heavy drug years, and it's him. It's a video, I guess on MTV, of like him meeting with his son, and his son's like, "I just want to have a relationship with you and have you be my father and me be your son and us get to know each other and start." And DMX goes, "I can do that. Yeah, I can do that." He goes, "But I need you to do it clean." And he goes, "Bye." And he just literally kicks him out. He's like, "Nope."
Oh,
It's cold. Complete with his face.
Damn.
He goes, no,
No,
drugs rule.
the
Dude.
fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
it's like, that's crazy.
nah.
Do you know the stress it is hanging out with you? I abandoned you for years.
That's like my friend, literally famous director, is going like this. He goes, "How do you have so much energy, man?" I go, well, "What do you mean?" He goes, you fucking have energy all the time. I want energy like that." I go, "You don't have energy?" He goes, "No." "What do you do?" And I go, "Well, you got to stop smoking." He goes,
"That'll help."
"Fucking no way."
Yeah. Oh, that's the whole secret?
I don't want to do that. Just tell me what else you do. I go, I don't know. I can't start the conversation like this. Eat more kale. What the fuck do you want?
Hey, going back to Rodman, go to North Korea. Isn't it weird that for North Korea we send Rodman, or we don't send, but they develop those relationships, and then Russia with Putin, it's Steven Seagal. It's just the weirdest. It's just the weirdest odd jobs that we.
It's the most famous people of the 90s. Yeah. He goes, "Send over Debbie Gibson." "Electric Youth was my shit."
Isn't it strange?
Yeah, it really is. Like, because they're just behind the times.
Yeah, they're behind the times, and they still believe those movies are real. Yeah. It's the only movies they're
Steven
getting.
Seagal shows up, and they're like, "Look different than the movie." You don't even know it was years ago.
Yeah.
What's about last year's Hard to Kill?
He's got a painted hairline. And he's kind of very heavy.
This is different than Under Siege.
Have you ever met Steven
seen him do
Seagal?
all that stuff with those Russians? Like he's there with. He's so heavy, and he's teaching them.
Did you say have I met Steven Seagal?
Yeah.
You love this, dude. I was at a UFC. This is a long time. I was at a UFC. I'm there for like an appearance, something. So they've sit all the fighters. UFC Toronto. So it's GSP. I think Jake Shields, and so we're sitting in the front row. Well, I'm sorry, the second row. Everyone's pretty famous UFC fighters, and I was like, "Are we not in the front? What the fuck?" And then Steven Seagal sits in the very front row in front of us, but he's huge, so we can't see anything. But before he sat there was Josh Koscheck. They kicked Josh out and set Steven Seagal down. And he kept standing, and we can't see anything. And everyone's like, "God, somebody should say something." I'm like, "Yeah, it's fucking Steven Seagal. We can beat him up." And then everyone's like, "You think?" I'm like, I would hope fucking so. So, like, say something. Like, "All right, watch this." I'm like, "Sit the fuck down." And turns around. I was like,
well, you know,
Your friends like this. Like, okay.
he's like,
I had stories about that guy. Of people
He's
who worked with him.
massive. He's big.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone
dude,
who
we
said
were all
he was
scared
a
of
cool
him.
guy.
No, I have friends who worked with him. I have so many friends who tell so John Leguizamo. I hope I'm not outing him on this, but John Leguizamo tells a story where he goes, they're doing a movie together. You know, John's a real actor, an amazing guy.
Yeah,
but
great.
John's not a big guy. John's about 5'7".
tiny.
And John goes to Steven Seagal, like he doesn't even know him. He goes, "So is all that stuff real? Can you really use that?" And Seagal's 6'5". Seagal just goes like this. He goes, boom, and just he literally goes, and hits it in the elbow. And John goes, "Cool." Guess what? He goes, "Hey, hey," and he couldn't breathe. He goes, "Hey, hey," like that. And he goes, "You tell me," and walked away. And that was it. Like,
Is all that real?
What the fuck?
What made him so great?
Hey!
The question. Did he
You
ask
not
it
know
as
that story? You don't
Juanita,
know
his
that
old
story?
neighbor?
Oh, fucking hey, hey, like that.
That guy hates character work.
I know.
But Steven Seagal.
Please do not do the lady who worked at the bodega on your corner anymore.
Didn't
No more one-man shows.
I get what it was like in the Bronx back then. Enough. If I see one more set with outside hanging laundry from building to building.
Steven
I've seen every
Seagal.
one of his one-man shows. Johnny Legs, shout out to him.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
great. Didn't Steven
Johnny
Seagal
Legs
get in
cla-
some shit?
legend.
the best.
Didn't he get in some shit for human trafficking as a cop in Louisiana?
He got into a lot of shit for a lot of things. I mean, Penthouse.
you know he's like a legit cop in Louisiana and got busted for like sex trafficking.
It
He was like, I'm
Steven
here.
Seagal was?
Yeah.
I did a movie with his ex-wife. I did a movie with somebody who.
Kelly LeBrock?
Yes, I did a movie with a TV show with
She
somebody.
seemed to be a little
who had lot
screwy
of
though
time
too
with him.
now.
Well, the stories are pretty not so good.
Oh,
It says
yeah.
Not a good guy.
So it says Steven Seagal, the action movie star a long time ago, used one woman as a sex toy and kept others who were on call 24 hours a day.
Yeah, makes sense.
You shouldn't get arrested for that. The Steven Seagal accused of sex trafficking. Click on that.
He's not a good guy, man, from what I've heard. I don't know, but he's just.
Better watch it.
What's that? He was going to arrest him for what? Being awesome? Is that a crime in this town now?
Vietnamese girl.
Oh, that's never going to be
Around
good.
the clock booty call position. This one he was a cop too.
Yeah.
He was bad lieutenant the whole time.
Yeah, that's what he is.
Show me your ass.
Yeah.
How do you suck dick?
She says she found two young female Russian attendants. We're on call for Seagal's sexual needs 24/7.
I think Playboy or Penthouse wrote an article about him, and the article was like crazy, where his maid said he picked me up and basically raped me on top of a washing machine, then just walked away. Like the accusations were crazy, where you're like, whoa.
Well, that's the reason he lives in Russia, isn't it? I know you got busted for this
Yes, I would
shit, and I was
imagine.
like, you know what?
Russia's Me Too movement isn't that robust. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah, you got to
especially when
dip
you're
out to
friends
different
with-
places.
Yeah.
Didn't
When you're friends with Putin.
Gary Glitter just got out of Vietnamese jail, I think, for serving the tiny sentence they gave him. That's the guy that does, Rock and Roll Part 2 at
don't
every
know.
arena.
I don't know.
Look
at him.
Yeah, from
Holy
the
shit.
Oh,
yeah,
is he the child?
Yeah.
He's a pedophile.
Yeah.
What?
He just went over to
So,
he
Well,
just
look
went
at
over to
him.
Vietnam. They ended up getting him there though too.
Yeah,
and they gave him like a slap on the wrist out there.
I think it wasn't anywhere near what would have happened here.
he is a fucking
Boy, if I were to
monster.
search pedophiles, he would be the first
Yeah.
one that
I'll
pops
cut
up.
that guy's head off right now. Look at him.
Oh, dude, it's a shame. I watch so many of those pedophile hunters, the online ones. I love them.
Well, it's dads against predators. You
Those
watch
are the ones that try to fight people, which is
yeah.
great.
Do you see
Those
the one?
dads are dope.
You see the one where the guy meets he meets the father's 12-year-old daughter, gets catfished by this guy, and he takes it over and goes, "Come meet me." Guy shows up, and the father lets his Cane Corso and German Shepherd
Kill him?
loose on the guy. No, but the dogs are biting him. They're just like, get him. He's
That's
like,
the Dads Against Predators one?
Please, don't, please. And
I don't know if that's dead against predators.
No, this
that
was
might
on,
be on the
this was on
dark web.
YouTube, or it was just like
Because I know YouTube was like either demonetizing them. They were doing something because they were like,
Yeah, they're all going to Rumble.
yeah.
Whatchamacallit, I watched one that was it was like young kids, like 19 years old, doing it, and I've never seen it done like Smash style. You know what I mean? Like, yo,
Got you.
yo, we're about to go get this predator and this thing, and they got him, and they're like, yo, you're gross, bro, you're gross. And then the guy was like, how old are you? And he's like, 19. And then the guy just starts fighting him. He's like, whoa, yeah, dude, I'm fighting a predator. Like it's the whole time he's just like, it's real for sure.
Wow.
But it's so ridiculous. They said they were the cops afterwards and shit. But the problem with a lot of them is, they're catching borderline, if not very retarded people who were going to answer that call if it was an 85-year-old
Yeah.
or a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
And
They
do
can't
much,
believe
right?
it's happening. It's not really. This isn't going to come up in his life ever again. You know what I mean? But now they also do catch like pieces of shit. And
But I heard they can't do much. Like the cops can't do much when like the
when they give it their information,
like
'cause
the
it's always gonna
kick-ass
be-
superheroes.
They don't know what they're doing.
No, they can't do like even on Catch a Predator. Like those
Really?
guys.
There was
No,
one-
that's why they stopped shooting the show.
because you haven't done anything. You've just got.
I guess I don't know if intent.
It'll
means
definitely
anything.
be hard to get a job after that.
Yeah, you're still getting exposed for being in a pretty creepy situation
Yeah,
online. So
they
it's like
caught
good-
sheriffs. They caught.
I went on one with the guy, with the big guy with the beard who does it, but we didn't. We didn't get anybody.
Didn't
but
catch any
we got
fish?
next to the guy. It was the most insane things happening at once. Like when it all started happening, it started happening very quickly. It was like we meet at this Walmart where they do it at
Standard.
in Texas, and we go in. I meet him in the section. We're talking about it. It's funny. I was doing the same walk that they have people do to catch them. I think when I get up there, he goes, "Hey, you piece of shit." But we were talking, and he goes, "Yeah, the person is not. He keeps sending pictures that he's outside, but he can't. He's not coming in or something. So we got to go out. Then we go, and we think from the picture he took, we see the car that's him. So we pull up behind him, and they go and like circle the car, and then and then they come back to the car. They go, it's not him. And they just did it to the wrong car. Hey, you piece of shit, here to fuck a little child. Oh, okay. My apologies, sir.
Wrong car.
Yeah, wrong car. So we end up just pulling up next to the guy, and it was the guy. And when he just looked over and saw like 4 dudes,
He was
like,
out.
His boys are huge. He fucking took off, and I watched the guy. So the only interesting thing of it, or the most interesting thing I should say about the whole thing was, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody like run for their life before. Like
Yeah.
a genuine, like if I don't,
Terrifying.
my life's over
Yeah.
if this comes out
That's-
again. And he was even like 70 and hitting like those speed bumps in an old car. Like his doors were gonna fall. If those doors would have fallen off, he would have just ran over the engine and just kept going in the highway traffic. He was out. He was out. But when he was doing like the going around like a nut, we were kind of following him for a minute. And then all of a sudden, like these 5 black women, I mean, unrelated to anything, they're outside of their like in a Navigator or something, and they're all wearing see-through clothes to the nips or like little like G-strings, and they're all like just down like twerking and doing all it's all, morbidly obese, each one more than the next. It was what, but every time we're like following this guy and turning like that loop of like, the traffic lines. Yeah, just like he goes, we're coming back around the fat black chicks again. They never broke stride. There's a pedophile chase going on while they're over there fucking clapping cheeks.
They were the mood music. They were the mood music and mood.
But when
tone.
those dads catch up to him, legally they can't like fuck him up, right? Or they like shut the cameras
Dads
off.
against predators? Oh no, one they just flat out. He just says to the guy, he goes like square up 1-on-1, and they do. They fight, and it's also he doesn't do that good in the fight. You're like, I mean, if you're gonna fight these predators, be a better fighter, man.
Yeah, let's take some training. He gets beat up by.
But I just saw
pedophiles.
one of those guys that go with this. Actually, it was the first time I saw this too. There's a girl who does it named Courtney Elizabeth, and she's I guess in her 20s or something, and she does, for the first time. She always gives like a long intro to what they're getting ready to do and or the person they caught. And I'd never seen this on a pedophile outside of their own merch and things like that. A lot of them have merch. I've never seen this. She goes, and so he said he was going to have sex with her and lured her out and said, shows the thing that I'm going to come all in your face and all this like terrible, horrible shit to a child. Then she goes, also, before we get to Robert, I just want to say the new Live Free app has been, I've lost 12 pounds already doing workouts in the middle of it. And then she goes,
you can't have
and it shows the
sponsorships.
clips of like you get a personalized trainer for you. It goes great with the gym, or if you're just doing at home body weight stuff. And so it's really been great for me. And I hope you guys check them out real big. And now let's go get
that a
Robert.
fly?
She goes, and now let's go get Robert. And it's like you're meeting Robert, by the way, is an old man who is retarded. And the Dads Against Predators guy goes with her, like to help on this one. And he's just, again, his energy doesn't match the situation all the time. This guy's like, I don't know. I won't do it again. And they're like, what do you mean you won't do it again? He goes, I won't do it again. He goes, you live in a nursing home, right? And he's like, I won't do it again. He goes, what's that motherfucker? It's just too much. Like, what's up, dude? What's up, motherfucker?
You want some of that?
Yeah, he's like too much of that. It's like,
Oh, you're not into fighting? So I'm
clearly
not
an
a
old
kid?
guy with no idea.
Somehow you kind of have sympathy for a pedophile. All of a
Yeah,
sudden. Like the show sucks now. It's like, wait a
Stop
minute.
making me root for them. But I mean, some of them are just classic.
Stop making me root for.
Yeah, let me root for a pedophile. Dude, Kurt Metzger, when we first became friends a billion years ago in Philly,
Yeah, he's so
How's
sorry.
Kurt doing? I love that fucking
this
dude.
makes me laugh so hard. We saw American History X together, and he's right. There's a scene in that movie that talk about something that makes no sense. One of the black and white flashbacks to when he was still a skinhead.
Yeah.
The movie's about him like reforming from being a skinhead. The flashbacks, they show black guys and white guys arguing at the basketball court. And then he goes, all right, well, fuck it, let's play for the courts then. Blacks versus whites, we play for the courts.
Whoever wins, whoever loses leaves.
Can't come to the Venice courts anymore. Not only do the white supremacists beat these guys, which is not going to happen, it ends with Steele and Edward Norton doing a reverse double-handed
Like Sean Kemp.
and they play. And
Is that true? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
You can put that on. You can put that on YouTube
That's the
in a
end of the
heartbeat.
movie for me.
Yeah.
When I see that, I'm like,
Yeah, they cheer. They cheer
He's my
so
size.
big, and they go, "Dad!" And the music's big, and Kurt just goes, "Are they trying to trick me to rooting for the Nazi guy?" Like it's such a weird. Yeah, just go to the end dunk.
And he's really good. Look at him.
I mean, he's running them. That guy's muscular now.
Yeah, he's jacked.
I know.
The big last ball.
There it is.
Steele.
Sit right here. Steele, look at this dunk.
That's a problem.
Yeah! Finally,
That's a
white
problem.
people win a game of basketball against black people.
It's a problem.
They're all bye.
They go, yeah, but it was white supremacists. You go, hey, you gotta take what you can get, man. Who knows? All white teams.
It's hard to get a win.
Yeah. What do you mean, throw Kurt Rambis out there?
Yeah, I don't remember that movie.
He's not showing up for a racial turf war game.
Rachel. Looks like Gonzaga versus Miami. Yeah.
Oh, dude, so, yeah, exactly. So it's going to tricking you and like rooting for the wrong thing. I'd always tell people if you could find Predator Jamie is the best of those things because like for anyone listening at home, it's just a guy, a morbidly obese guy who you do feel bad for again because this was never going to happen for him ever.
Yeah.
He lives in a room in his mom's house and he's morbidly obese. And his mom is just hilarious because she's there for the entire confrontation, and she just keeps going. Like they'll be like, "Well, you said here that you want to like suck her little 8-year-old asshole," and she'll be like, "Jamie, oh,
Jamie.
To a 14-year-old girl, she goes, They don't even have their periods yet. I know that. She's just like, she never breaks.
Well, I gotta.
You're a
watch this
pervert. Jay, you
Did
pervert.
you really?
Jay, you creepy pervert. And then, by the way, they're always so like, retarded. Also, they don't know like the actual reality of like what's happening.
Do you think
he's
they're
like,
actually retarded though?
Yeah. They're definitely they're definitely challenged. Because I'm telling you, this lady goes, when they're going through that, she goes, and he was planning to meet her at, this decoy at his work and stuff like that. And she goes, that's it. Don't worry, I'm taking his phone.
That'll show him. No, Mom, no.
Well, that's it. I'm taking the phone. He goes, I think it's bigger than that right now. There's guys sitting in your living room.
What a fucking
reading off your fucking.
what a fucking disaster.
Well, those
What a
people the
disaster.
people that
You have
search.
kids?
Yeah, I have a daughter.
Yeah, how old?
20.
Oh, she's 20.
There's still no one better than the king of Chris Hansen, because I think they have some compilations of it that you could watch of his. Like, he got so like jazz with it by the end.
Yeah,
like, you know what he's doing? That his entrance was always kill. He would like wait for them to say something. They'd be like, I'll be right down. He goes, I can't wait to hug your body. And then he pops out and be like, I'd like to have my body hugged, Frank. Would you like to hug my body? Why don't you have a seat? Dude, his little, whatever the thing was first.
It started escalating.
I mean, always. He goes, I've been thinking about you all day. He goes, have you been thinking about me, Tom? I'd like you to think about me. Why don't you have a seat? It was never.
Why don't you suck
The guy
my
would
dick?
fall-
Yeah.
Sometimes they fall to their knees or just go.
I'd like to have my pussy eat until I scream. Would you like to eat my pussy until I scream? Why don't you have a seat, Ralph?
My thing is the YouTubers that do this, it's like it's one of two things. Either going to start looking for those pedophiles or they're hunting ghosts. Like there's no
that's
in
right,
between.
that's right.
It's either let's hunt ghosts or
Ghosts
hunt
or-
pedophiles.
Oh, it's completely
It's the
clickbait.
same kind of thing.
The guy who kept getting in trouble was the guy who makes them like do like stuff. Like he would make them, and it started off so dumb that I think he thought he had to ramp it up, because you're almost like, if you can have the guy call his family or whatever and do that shit, I guess fine. But he would
Give me
always
20
be like,
push-ups.
Yes, push-ups. Run up and down the block.
100 burpees, bitch.
Suicide.
And he would realize when you tell him to run up and down the block, when you tell him to run up the block, he goes, you better come back too, man. Don't just keep running. Like, he just sends him on a runaway. But yeah, that guy used to do that. And he got
100
trouble.
yards.
He made the guy jump in the Hudson. The Hudson River and he couldn't swim.
That's good.
So he had to be rescued from the Hudson.
That's actually good.
And he got canceled.
Yeah.
But again, it was like a thing, and this, I'm not justifying any of these pedophiles. That one was like a 21-year-old guy who was there to meet like a 16-year-old like boy.
Yeah.
For like, I'm like almost, and again, I might be wrong. And gay people, feel free to just tell me I'm completely wrong with this. I think that's just what happens.
By the way,
I think
I've
a
heard
young
lot of gay
20-something
men say
fucks a
that.
teenage boy. I've heard gay people
A lot
say
of
that
gay-
on shows.
They say 100%. They go, well, the big secret is that there are 15, 16, 17-year-old boys that go to those clubs, that get online and
Well, they say it's because they don't have anyone their own age to kind of relate to it.
or it's just
like
that
so
they
much
want to
so-
fuck a guy
And they
who's
wanna
older.
stay in the closet,
Or
probably.
remember,
Or just
wait,
like, what can you tell me? How did you do that? They just get
when you
wrapped
were
up in the
16,
world of
let
that.
me tell you something. When we were 15 and 16, 17, if you told me I could get on an app and fuck a 25-year-old 10, I'm getting on the app and having sex with that 25-year-old. Don't worry about me. I'll
Every
be fine.
Friday, Saturday night.
At 16
Damn,
years
you're
old, I'll be fine. Yeah.
Damn, that's confident. I would have been like, I don't want this old lady to see my little weenie, my little 6-year-old weenie.
So I was built like a runaway. There's no doubt, but I would have given it the old college try.
Yeah.
If it was there, if they were into me, which is what older guys are into, twinks.
Did you guys have any? I am blown away by that so much. I'm one of my only friends in the world who has no in his life knowledge of one of the buddies fucking someone another buddy's mom or the teacher fucking. I had none of that. My teachers were all old, ugly
Yeah, I mean,
women.
I always say that too.
Or maybe the guys
It's
got
very
some
rare.
play.
It's a very rare thing. I don't know. It was always a fantasy.
Like I'll read New York Post every morning and it'd be like, teacher gets busted. I'm like, who's hiring that hot ass teacher?
Yeah.
My teacher had cancer of her nose and had a fake nose and called juice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't.
We had Mrs. Jaya Raman, a lady who smelled like her name, teaching chemistry.
Yeah,
Jaya Raman.
none of my teachers were fuckable.
Yeah, I didn't.
There wasn't one until when I went to school. I switched schools in senior year and went to not like an intramural prison that I went to in Philly. I went to an actual place, and I would say maybe like the like because then there was coaches for actual teams, and those guys taught like social studies stuff. So maybe like the girls had crushes on the guy.
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember.
My wrestling coach, like a lot of the seniors in high school, were obsessed with him.
Yeah, that was the only time.
He was like 33. But
it was always the coaches. It was always the coach, though, because in high school, it was the men's or the women's lacrosse coach. He was young. He must have been 24, 25. And there was like so many rumors he was fucking like a ton of them.
Well,
yeah, you should just almost take away, after all those gymnastics documentaries I watched, like, can't girls just train girls? Like, it's like, I don't know why, if you want to be the best of them, you have to send your child away for 4 months with an old Russian man. He's probably going to touch her asshole. It's what you're lining up for.
It's what you're lining up for. Well, looking back, I went to boarding school, and the teachers there, everybody lived on the same campus. So I think the art teacher, looking back, was probably hooking up with my friend when she was a senior. I'm pretty sure that. But she was 18. He was probably 30-something. And that was in 1985. Let me tell you what was acceptable. That shit. You would go to Europe and you would see, I'm telling you, on the beaches, you'd see a 15-year-old girl with a 25-year-old guy. And it was just like done.
I don't know how deep into the 20s, but I remember like the hot girls in my like senior year,
they were dating old
maybe
guys.
even junior year, were dating guys who were like 23
That's
or
right.
24.
Almost all of them. Yeah.
If they were like, and there's guys that you never, and they would drive them everywhere, and we all couldn't drive.
But now, if you're Leo DiCaprio and you're 50 and you're dating a 23-year-old, you hear about it. It's like it's considered, I guess now almost predatory.
I don't consider it to be predatory. What I'm more taken back by it is like. I'm not talking about like a 23-year-old who thinks you're hot showing up and fucking in the middle of the night, and maybe you hang out for like dinner or something. But 23, especially when he's 50, you said, right?
Yeah.
It's just like you're doing. It's like stop pretending there's anything else but pussy involved.
There's nothing.
It's like you cannot talk.
And that's because
there's no conversation.
That's because you have a daughter too.
Yeah.
Like when you have a daughter,
you realize every bit of their age they are. My daughter's 20,
Yep.
and I would say she's like younger almost. You know what I mean? She's probably more experienced than I'm aware of and stuff, but she's a good kid, which is great.
I have
like,
a 15-year-old soon to be 15.
But they're kids. But I mean, they're fucking exactly. When
Still
you hear
young
that,
as shit.
15,
Same
16,
shit where you're like, no, I know how young she is, and I understand. Like she's 15.
the mental.
It's a mental thing. And the other thing is that she has a boyfriend now, and it's beautiful.
does?
Yeah, it's
You didn't tell me
beautiful.
that.
Yeah, it's beautiful to watch.
Who
But
is
he's
this
15.
bastard?
He's
And he's
15.
Asian.
I know.
Brian's on. He's 27.
Yeah, but you can
And I'm
see that
fine.
there's
What a sick ride.
He holds mitts for me and we box
My
together.
son, who's 11, is such a smart ass. I go, who is he? And my son goes, he's 28. But he's 15. But there's that innocence, man. My daughter's a smart girl and blah, 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 old soul, blah, 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 whatever you want to say.
world's
She's still
cruel,
15.
man.
She's 15.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
The world's
You're
cruel as
delicate,
fuck.
too, in that stage. So if you told me that she was dating a 20-year-old, it's going to be a problem for me because I'm going to fucking stop that immediately.
Oh,
Even if it's
absolutely.
legal, I'm going to be like,
Even
it's
if
not
you date
happening.
an 18-year-old at 15, I'd still be like,
Because
It's like they're gonna take you to do things.
That's right.
Forget the fucking.
That's right.
They're just gonna take you to do things that you're probably really not ready to do.
And they're going to
yet,
break
yeah.
your heart. They're probably going to break your heart.
Another 18, a party of all 18-year-olds, and you're gonna feel weird and young.
Yeah.
All that.
Pressure.
But so it goes. I mean, it's kind of like how you learn too. I mean, that's how all of
I
us
looked out.
got
My
beat up
daughter's
by older
prom.
guys.
My daughter's senior year was online, so no prom.
Oh, that move. Thanks, COVID.
Yeah, man. Having a daughter is I worry more about. My son, it's like, you'll deal with it. Just
I know it really is that way. But also, what you'll see is as your daughter gets older too, and I don't know if I described this well, but I said it a few times. She's already done things that I'm like, she got tattoos. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, I think the way she wears her makeup is ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? She doesn't dress like slutty or anything, but like
What's her style? Is it like goth?
it's almost like, kind of like new metal-y, like kind of thing she's got into.
That's
but
cool.
like,
That's better
yeah.
than slutty.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But she's she's 20 also, and I'm sure wants to be sexy in her way, or
Sure.
however like young she seems to me.
Ugh.
But like, it was like dating. Like she's told me nothing about it all.
No.
And
Do you
continues
want to
say
know,
she-
though?
No.
I have trouble with it, dude.
I don't.
Because my
I will
Here's
beat
what I
that
love.
gap right
I
now.
know.
What I love about her, she'll tell me she's going to an underground party that breaks up when cops show up, and then if I go, can you call me when you get home, please? Or let me know if you need an Uber from there or something.
Yeah.
She'll go, yeah. And she's like, if it's 4 a.m, she calls and says like, hey, I'm home.
Yeah, that's good.
That's like,
I
don't know
need
what Mark
that,
can
yeah.
ask for, yeah.
Yeah, like that's
But
how.
that's what I'm saying. I lost my train of thought. As they do whatever these things are, you'll get over them. Fucking, trying drugs, drinking, all those things. Because what it is, like when the next day, when you realize it, like, oh, they're still the same person. You know what I mean? It's like it's not a different person because this thing happened. Like, and that's what it is. So it's like, I know her, so she did this thing, but like, I don't think this thing is like.
I just don't want to hear about it. Like,
course,
my ex gave my daughter the talk, you know,
About birds and bees?
Yeah, because she's with this guy now. He's 15, and they spend time together. You have to have that talk, right? I can't be involved in that shit. I can't be involved. It's my daughter, so my buddy was walking by his 14-year-old daughter's room. He told me, he goes, he's walking by his 14-year-old daughter's room. And his daughter, he hears his daughter go, I gave him a blowjob, but we didn't do anything else.
Fuck.
He goes, I gave him a blowjob, but we didn't do anything else.
I'll kick
And he
the
goes
door open like
this-
the Kool-Aid man, be like, slut!
Yeah, he said, I felt like somebody had stuck something like a spike in my back. I went, like my back, like when you know, when in the Super Bowl, when they pour the Gatorade
On the shows.
like he just went, fuck, and he stopped like that. And he goes, and he just went, and his arms died. He just went,
I
he
would.
just had to walk away. He's like, that's life. That's what am I going to do?
Well, that's like Rogan. It's different, right? Like Rogan's bit on probably 2 or 3 specials ago. He goes, I think he was talking about Harvey Weinstein stuff. He goes, like, if I had a son and, you know, and he came, or if I had a daughter and she's like, yeah, Harvey Weinstein want to put me in Batman, but I have to, you know, fuck him. He'd be like, I'd fucking kill him. If my son was like, hey, Dad, Harvey Weinstein said if I fuck him, I'd be Batman. I'd be like, holy shit, you're going to be Batman.
Harvey was a woman. If it was Harvina.
Like, holy shit, you're going to be Batman.
Probably if it was Harvey. Yeah, just do a little gay shit in your
Harvey,
Batman.
dude.
I mean,
Get in there.
By the way, if you got a son, same thing. Like my daughter, raising a daughter, I can't. They got to a point about 11 where I couldn't really discipline her. Like I certainly can't hit her. I certainly can't do much. There was an emotional space I had to negotiate. My son, he's 11. I can threaten that fucker.
Sure.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
so
Like
I
he's
can
a
beat the
boy.
shit out.
Yeah. It's like you're a boy, so I'm not gonna get into an emotional.
You guys
thing
are
with
trained. You
do
can do
this,
internal
do
damages.
that. Yeah, fuck, exactly. You know what I mean? Like fucking. What do you like? Hey, dude, I'm the real world. Get the fuck over there.
Who's the disciplined one in the family? Are you the strict dad?
Oh,
You
it
seem
had
like
to
the
be
fun
me. Well, it's funny. Now probably more the fun because now she's like 20.
She's like, your homie.
I'm like, hey, let's go see the Deftones tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
great.
and go to concerts
Yeah.
and
Well, how did you discipline? Did you have to discipline her, or was it her mom's?
yeah,
job?
it was fucking no. Her mom.
Are you still with the
that was
mom before you
no.
answer? Oh, yeah.
The worst was I hated that because when I was on the road, I know she wants to be a part of disciplining too, but on the road, you guys know when that phone call. I mean, every weekend I felt like it was like, tell your daughter that she has to buy. I'm like, yo. I would never do this to you.
Yeah.
I'm like, when I have her, if she does something wrong, like I just deal with
handle
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I think she wanted me to be the more, but I don't know. It didn't like cause any like major issues. Like me having to be like the you're punished one.
You guys got
stuff
along
like
very
that.
well, always.
Yeah. It was me and her have always got
Did she
along.
have
My
any
buddy.
boyfriends that you didn't approve of?
No boyfriends as far as I know. I keep and her mom both keep thinking that there's an outside shot this kid's a lesbian. She hangs out with her friends, very close with her friends to that kind of thing. Like, her roommate is like coming
Outside shot.
if she comes for dinner.
Outside shot.
She comes for dinner. The roommate comes for dinner too.
Yeah.
But then they stay at another friend's house out there, which was and if it was the last friend I met, all right, Isabella. So I said to her mom goes, I think sometimes she's dating that girl. I go, nice.
Decent.
Hell yeah, kid.
Nice.
Good for her. Yeah. I'm like, get him, kid.
Get 'em.
But I don't know. I know she just keeps it for me because like
You're a dad.
she's also
man.
just been like in such like a major part of like comedy growing up, and she's been really good with that.
Well, we found out.
You know what I mean? Like me telling her that, the stuff I did on Netflix, it's like I had to call her and be like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, your
but I
brand of
really want
humor.
to say this.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I get it. It's fine.
Yeah, your
cool.
material.
do
He
you
and I
think?
found out recently that somebody we know was banging guys. And it was the last thing we expected. I just found out that he was out there trolling and banging girls, but banging guys.
And
which-
said,
But
and it's what almost had like a coming out of it. Like,
no,
by the way,
no. That'd still be
found out.
Yeah.
He got
very surprising. We're like, wow, it's all right.
But when you think about it, it's not that surprising.
Not a surprise.
Like when you
Not a
just go back
surprise.
through the memories, you're like, oh.
Yeah, a lot of it is very strange.
That's how I felt about. That was hilarious. Like Paul Mooney, I think it was gay.
He was gay.
But that was one of the funniest. Like, I remember standing outside of Caroline's when I heard that situation. Oh, I know what it was. I had to cover for him for a long time on stage because I think when the show started, he was in the air still on an airplane.
Oh my God.
And they called me at home, and they were like, "We're running out of comedian. Can you come over to Caroline's and like do some time?" So I did some time, and after the show and before he went on, they were like, "Hey, this is Jay. He just did a bunch of time." I wasn't asking for anything from it. I was like, "Hey, Paul Mooney," and he was like, he was just kind of shitty to me. He kind of closed the door of the green room, and I went upstairs, and someone goes like, "He's just like a bitchy gay guy." I go, "What do you mean?" They go, "Yeah, Paul Mooney's like gay. You didn't know he's gay?" I go, "Paul Mooney's gay." Like I look out of the corner of my eye, it's like his headshot. He's got like circle sunglasses and a hat that's tied under his chin. I go, "Oh man, am I an idiot?"
Paul Mooney.
Like, see, he goes,
Oh yeah. Well, he Paul Mooney. Jamie Masada told me an interesting story. So Paul Mooney, when he was making it and famous, he bought a Rolls Royce. Might have been a Mercedes, something very expensive car. And Jamie got in the car with him. He said, "I got to go to the certain area, but you got to come with me because otherwise, I'm going to get stopped." And Jamie was like, "What are you talking about? It's the 70s." Jamie said that they had to go, I think, through Beverly Hills. Jamie said they got stopped like 4 times because he was a black man driving a Rolls Royce. And they had to get out on the curb, sit on the curb, go through all the shit. Jamie was right there. Jamie was like, that's kind of, so Paul came up in an actually very racist world.
Oh, sure.
And so for him, it was like,
What's this have to do with him being gay, dude?
well, just being bitchy, I think. He just, especially to people.
Nah, that's all the gay part.
Yeah, he's been a nice big J for
And-
covering for his
He had,
ass.
to, he had to be closeted too in the gay community and the black community too. You couldn't be gay
He goes,
and make money.
Thanks for going on stage, you white motherfucker.
Yeah.
So yelling at me like, "You blew my granddaddy down the street with a fire hose." Like, I didn't. but I feel like I'm getting his
my
anger.
granddaddy down the street.
I feel like I'm getting. That was.
And now his new special, "You blew my granddaddy
Dude,
down
that
the
was
street."
one of the funniest things ever. I'll always say on Legion of Skanks, like the epitome of what the show is. Like, can you make the funny out of the awful
Yeah.
without having to go, "This is awful," and this, it was the video of black people getting blown down the street with fire hoses, and then we go, but put the song "Wipeout" over it, and I'm telling you, it's a different video. It's a different video. It looks like everyone's having a blast. It looks like people want to run into it and go like, "Me."
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our show forever. This has been our last show. Thanks so much. And
We can all acknowledge black people being blown down the street with fire hoses is a horrible time that, thank God, is gone.
yeah.
Thank God. What a horrible thing.
Is there a butt there?
But the video of it with the one song "Wipeout" playing over it, it's a good home game.
Once again, guys, thanks so much for tuning in.
That's the end of,
That's the end of our
Kid.
career. We'll be leaving, and you won't find us anywhere. We'll be in West Virginia.
Holocaust body dumps with "Closing Time" by Semisonic. No, that's we didn't do that one.
But you know what? If
You don't have
creativity-
to go home, but you can't stay here. I know.
Great fucking tune.
Jay Oakerson.
Who started Legion of Skanks? Give me the origin story of Legion of Skanks.
It was sort of when podcasts were just start, I think WTF was like popping at that point. Corolla, they said. All
What
this
year
stuff.
is this? How long ago?
2011.
11.
2011, and and Lewis and Dave were just but it's so funny, we've been talking on the podcast lately about this, the perspective differences of people and friendships. It always looked to everybody like I was always kind of like hanging out with the comics who were like above me. I was brought in by Keith Robinson to be around, and I was around Patrice and Keith Robinson and Colin Quinn and all those guys every night. All those
Legends,
amazing
yeah.
comics, Bobby Kelly, around every night. But they weren't like my day-to-day friends. They were older than me. They were doing something. So my friends were my friends. I had my contemporaries, and then also just some people, comics who were younger than me, but they just made me laugh. They were people I got along with, and Lewis and Dave were two of those people. And as our friendship went on, though, it was so funny to hear them recount the stories, and they go, "Yeah, when you were broke, and but we thought you were like, because you were working the clubs, we thought you were money, and you were running a karaoke night at the old, what's now the Village Underground. They go, you're running a karaoke night to make the $200 a night you needed doing it." And he goes, "We would just sit there at your feet at the DJ booth and like stare up at our more successful friend Jay doing a shitty job." And he's like, "We were like bitches." And I was like, "Oh, like I just looked at it as like my buddies were coming to keep me company at this job." Yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, we have some free drinks. Everyone hangs out and parties." But I get it also because they'd walk around, and because the comics would know me at the Comedy Cellar and knew them as like my guys.
Yeah.
And then they start, people were shitty, so they start going like, "Where's your bitches?" and shit like that. And you're like, "Hey."
Easy, man.
But so that wasn't the case. They were just the guys that, like, on a day-to-day basis, like, we could just hang and laugh.
D'Elia used to do that with his friends. D'Elia would see people there, and he'd have his group of his people,
minions,
and he'd go like this. He'd go, "Hey, 3 guys who could be in any movie in the background." It's like,
Dave. He's just. I was DM him at probably his first appearance on Rogan. I'm like, "You're fucking smart, man."
Oh yeah,
He's really
But it was funny. But it's great to see where everyone's at too. Like
They're
Dave
doing
was
great.
essentially like guy on the couch at my house, which I loved. It was like me and Dave just hung out every day and smoked pot. We would not smoke pot for a couple hours when we got my daughter from school. Probably people thought we were a gay couple picking her up. And then we go back and play video games with my daughter and do whatever. She do her homework.
He got really into politics. He's running for office, isn't he?
No.
Oh,
but
he's not.
thank God.
Okay.
It would have ruined all
Where'd
of
you
us.
hear that?
I heard he was like thinking about
it for
Smart
sure.
Was he really?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
he's wicked
Really
smart.
smart. Yeah, I like.
He's insanely smart.
I like
for
when
sure.
he breaks it down, because like if I was into it, I would break it down like he does. It like makes sense to me.
Oh yeah.
Like
for
when
sure.
Jordan Peterson talks or some of these other political guys, you're like, "Fuck sakes."
No,
But Dave
Dave's
breaks it down for
phenomenal,
like the
and he's
bros.
found that lane, which is amazing for him, and he's so great at it. But it was when all those podcasts were just starting, I was like, well, I guess I don't know, because again, I was kind of fledged. I did like a half-hour special, and I did the JFLs and all that stuff. Nothing was really kind of popping, so I was like, I guess I'll start a podcast like everybody. And the first episode we ever have is kind of a fun one because it's essentially going to be like my podcast, and like my boys will be on it with me, and it's kind of starting to think of a name. The first episode, just trying to think of a name for it and everything, and going through that. But it was really good. That was going to be the energy. It was going to
And
be
is
like
it you, Lewis, and Dave?
It's me, Lewis, and Dave. Yeah, from the beginning, and then it just so quickly became it's a 3-person dynamic.
Yeah.
It's not like.
He
And my
gets
name, and also they realized quickly my name doesn't really do anything for it at that time anyway. You know what I mean? It's like the looking up to the
Well, it's
person.
chemistry, man. You guys have good chemistry.
But it's also like knowing like like again the perspective of level versus the level you're actually at.
Yeah.
Because again, I remember when I was just doing open mics in Philadelphia at the Black Comedy Club, Eddie Ifft came in and did a weekend there. I think he was featuring for somebody. But I was talking to a white guy who was a New York comic in this Black Comedy Club that I started at. And I'm asking about New York, and I mean, the things he's saying are like the most rudimentary level of things you hope to get going in New York. But he was telling me, I was like, what? He was like, yeah, you pop over to like Dangerfields for like, that's like a half-hour spot they give you, and that's like $25. And then you go over to this club, I go, that's $30. You get to do 15 minutes over there, swing it on down to the Comedy Cellar after midnight, and then you go on, it's called a food spot, where like if you go on after some time, whatever you want to eat on the house from the club. And I was like, wow, you're living it. I'm like, even your meal every night, your meal, you're funny for your meals. It's so romantic and awesome. I thought it was so. And then you realize it's like when I was doing food spots, I was like, why didn't I just give me the $30? I don't want to eat Middle Eastern food 100%
I'll eat
of
the
the time.
falafel right next door.
Yeah. You know what? Give me $10 less and I'm allowed to having food.
That's what I love about New York, though, man. You can do a lot of spots within a cab ride. You know, you can do 5 spots.
It's great. And I said,
Is
once you're established in
Caroline's
the club,
closed?
Done.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's done.
Absolutely done.
That was
yeah.
such an institution. Caroline's is gone.
Yeah.
What else is gone?
I popped on stage with Attell like one of his last nights.
I did
for a few
Sony Hall
minutes.
last time I was there 2 weeks ago. Have you ever done Sony Hall? It's like
No.
It's new. It's a theater, but it's a great theater, man.
Yeah.
Didn't Attell close out Caroline's, or was it?
He did the last headliner,
the
and then
last
there was a
headliner
New Year's
spot.
Eve
Who
show.
owns Caroline's?
It was Caroline Hirsch. I
It's
think.
a Red Robin.
Is stand-up really?
No, I'm just
Is
kidding.
stand-up New York still around?
Stan New York still running. I went up there for the first time in years the other day.
Is
It was
Kerry
good.
Hoffman
It was
still running it?
No. He sold it to 2 Jewish brothers.
What about
Gotham, and then Gotham's not a headliner club anymore. It's spots.
comic strip? You still do
Is
the
it
comic
just
strip?
spots?
Yeah.
No, I'm not allowed in the comic strip.
Why?
Why?
I started there.
Me too. It was actually where I met my ex-wife. It's the reason my daughter's alive. Our baby shower was there.
Yeah,
they
man,
kick you
that was
out?
where I started.
It started to become like they just, when Lucian, the old Booker died,
He died,
it
yeah.
was kept alive with like good comics still kind of coming through, but it became for a club that was just great because it was low turnover with the staff. The staff was like a family. It was one of those clubs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then it started to become a money thing. Then they stopped getting rid of.
Did you
like-
know Lucian?
Yeah,
Yeah,
He's the
Lucian.
one
I
who
knew
passed me.
Lucian real well. He got me. He was the one who would put me up at 8:40 spot every night.
Yeah.
On a Monday, he'd be like, "You open it, Brian. You've got a lot of energy. Very talented, but you need to really cut your teeth on. You talk this way." He was such an interesting. I was with him the week before he died. He had scleroderma.
And so they
Fingers were falling
and
off.
so they don't let you in
sucked.
just because.
Well, no. So it was kind of going to shit for years, it seemed. So like I just kind of wasn't working there. I didn't need to anymore for like the money
doing
so
the
much. And I
road
was
and
like,
everything.
once in a while, but I would do it once in a while. I'd be like, I'd pick 2 clubs and I'd go back and forth for the night. And on this night, I was going up to the second of 3 shows at the Strip that night.
You see what I mean?
And,
Beats so you do the first show, then you do the second show,
Yeah.
then the third show.
Yeah.
So you just go
Yeah.
back.
So I go up there and I'm like watching before I go. William Stevenson, the late William Stevenson, who passed away a couple years ago now, was up there. He looks like he
William
looks like
did?
Cleveland.
Wait,
Like,
bring-
he looks like from the Cleveland show, Cleveland. Like it's what he
William,
looked like.
the black guy?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he died?
Yeah.
Fuck, when did
So
he die? I love him.
A couple years back now, but William was like just like a house host. Like he was just like a guy.
Yeah, man. I loved William.
And he's just like an old chubby man.
Yeah. Damn.
And so he was on stage, and he would go up there, and he would fight with this. Now this audience, like they've started relying on like the people in Times Square. They're like, you want to see comedy? This club, that club, cocaine, marijuana, like just those people are selling tickets. So it became like a Puerto Rican family reunion at everything. It was like groups of 30
bad room.
that don't want to like
Yeah.
listen to.
I
Not
walked
a
by it.
comedy
It was
audience.
last
They
weekend.
would just be combative, and William Stevens is just an older guy who didn't give a shit, and he'd be like, "Shut up, cunt," or whatever.
He was
and
funny. William was
the
great.
first thing they're going at him, and like it was just. I went on stage, and they were still like the whole set was like having to like navigate them. You know what I mean? Like talk to them and stuff. And when I got off, I remember saying to my girlfriend, I was like, "I think you just may have seen the second to last spot I do at the comic strip." And then she was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, that's just not fun. Like, it's just weird."
That's
And when I went up for that last spot afterwards, I get in there. William Stevenson's on stage yelling at somebody for putting their feet on the stage and
Jesus
calling some lady a cunt. And her 30-year-old boyfriend or whatever jumps up on stage and gets like in William's face. And I was like, I was like, oh boy. I didn't think he was going to hit him before. I was like, this place notoriously had security always. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man, like this is going to be, there's no security doing nothing. There's no one there to help the situation. So I go on stage and just get the guy off stage and kind of like push him off and like, you know, he's like, see you outside type shit, whatever. So and calm down. And William, after that night, I was like, Jesus Christ, that's crazy that went down there. The next day on Facebook, I think it was, William wrote, they fired me at the comic strip for the rest from like, you know, for working there for a while or the rest of the weekend at least. And he was like, I'm not telling anybody what to do, but that club sucks and that's a shitty thing to do or whatever. But so I just wrote back to him on the Facebook. I go, yeah, I'm not even putting it in there anymore, dude. That's become chaos over there. And then the owner, who's passed away now too, Richie Tinkin, and I think it was his wacky wife. He's like married like a waitress who used to work there years ago, and I think she was fucking somebody else who works there on some sort of an agreement. The whole thing is a wacky situation.
Yeah.
And he was just this old decrepit guy. And when I put that thing up there, they started going on this social media tirade against me and like putting this crazy shit up on like, it was on Twitter. It was like, you defended somebody who called a woman a cunt and that's a word and blah. It's this crazy long thing going on. And I'm like, you're out of your mind. And then he wrote at one point, they were so easy to write back to because he was like, Eddie Murphy, Ray Romano, Chris Rock. I forget the fourth person, but he names 4 people. He goes, Jerry Seinfeld. These people have never, ever had to use the word cunt in their life on or off stage. And I'm like, that's a crazy statement to make. That's a crazy statement. I go, first of all, it's definitely not true. You could have picked a better 4 people if you wanted to try that one. You know what I mean?
Good burn. Good burn.
Yeah, he writes that. And then, so when he kept like going on this like kind of slam campaign of me, he removed it all because I put up a thing that I always found funny about the comic strip was that Richie Tinkham was also Eddie Murphy's manager for a long time, in his early years particularly. And they have 2 plaques on the wall of gold albums. It's Comedian and whatever the one after that was. And both of them have tracks that say, one says Faggots, and the other album has one that says Faggots, parentheses, Revisited. And I just wrote that. I go, do you worry about taking those down ever, or are you only worried about like upsetting cunts or whatever?
Good, good
and then they took all their stuff down, but it was definitely like, yeah, you're not welcome in here anymore. Like,
good riddance.
Whatever. Yeah, it's exactly. It's like, I don't know what to do when it gets
I walked
like
by it, and it was because it was my home club. And after 10 years later, 15 years later, I walked by it. It was just depressing. It looks calcified.
The greatest, one of the greatest, like plateaus to hit, or just levels rather, in comedy, I think, is not the local comedy club politics meaning nothing to you.
Right.
That's such a liberating
Yes.
thing, because when it means everything to you, a lot of them sort of abuse it and treat it like shit. But also just like they know they can treat. They know they can treat you shit.
I never got involved in that. I think part of it was
I've been called by clubs that are when you make $30 a show from each of these clubs,
It's
and
tough,
one's
man.
telling you you can't work that other one if you're gonna. You're like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's not my audience who's showing up. But we're just doing showcases.
Does Al? What's his name? I don't know if he's still
Martin?
alive. Yeah. Does he still own New York Comedy Club?
He might. I think he might own Broadway Comedy Club, the one still up in the Middletown. But New York Comedy
For the
Club
rest of the
got
podcast,
purchased.
Brian just kept naming
Yeah.
old New York.
I
Do you know
But
Michael?
he does know him.
But I will say this guy Emilio, who manages Chris DiStefano and stuff, Emilio bought the New York Comedy Club location.
Oh, sick.
And he's franchised them around. He's done a pretty good job.
Oh, okay.
He's
Yeah,
killing
it's
it for
pretty
Chris.
great. Yeah.
I did Nyack
Yeah?
improv. Yeah. It's good.
I'm doing Nyack in a few weeks.
I like the staff. I like the staff.
Yeah, we're going to see how that goes. That's one of those weird, like, theater clubs.
Yeah, it's a weird market.
And you're like, man,
Yeah.
it's sort of near New York, but it's mall people. We'll
It's
see.
sort of
It's depressing.
depending on
sometimes.
traffic.
All right, Jim, what do you got?
All right, first one is this video I just saw. This is in California.
Oh,
Is
I
there
saw
Chatsworth?
this.
Dude, this is
You guys
so
performed near
crazy.
Chatsworth before, right?
What'd you say?
You guys were performed by Chatsworth?
No, Chatsworth is where all the porn shot. Keep going.
No, it's not.
I thought you guys had a club there or
Not
somewhere.
anymore.
No, not Chatsworth. No.
Used to be.
So basically,
That's school set.
a pickup truck's tire came off, one of the lugs was messed up, and then it went in front of a Kia, and I'll just play this for
is
you.
crazy.
Dude, I was driving the highway today thinking about this.
You ever
I
seen
was
this?
so
It's just a
stressed
tire.
out.
It's just a
I
tire
was
that came
so
off.
stressed out.
This is so fucking crazy, dude.
Oh, man.
Boom!
Man, Justine Bateman's got an
not-
old face.
He's just looking at this right now.
Oh,
Jay, please. Jay, please focus on the.
shit.
Jay.
Oh my
I know where that
Keaton,
is.
man.
I know exactly where that is. DeSoto Avenue. I've been on that fucking.
It's Mallory Keaton.
Oh my god.
Dude, I go
Jay,
on
if you,
DeSoto
Jay,
every day.
Jay, please. If you could just focus on the accident.
She almost married Nick, the artist guy.
Jay, please, if you could just.
Oh, there was an accident.
The car flipped over.
The 118?
Jay. Yes. It flew in the air.
That is
That's why you wear your seatbelt.
terrifying.
Yeah, but the
I mean,
person's
if you have
fine.
a seatbelt, you're kind of fucked, I think. It depends on the car, too.
And someone could hit you after you. There's so many things that could have went wrong, but they're fine. Minor injuries, apparently.
Jesus. I mean,
Minor
it literally
injuries.
blew
Yeah.
up.
That's what.
After a flip
technology
like that?
helps you.
Yep.
Bring it. Let's see it.
But
Again.
let's take.
Oh, it didn't flip, I guess. Just launched.
Oh, okay. Justine.
I do remember her when she was
Confronts her
so
old
beautiful.
face.
Well, she's.
Well, when you say,
Whoa.
is there beauty in aging, aren't you really saying, do you think it's possible for other to find aging beautiful?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. What else you got?
Yeah, absolutely. Next video, please.
Absolutely. What else you got, Jim?
Well, she's in a town where everybody doesn't let that happen. She's in a town where.
But she was
people-
also known for her beauty. Like everyone had a
Yeah.
crush on her back in those
She
days.
should move
She's
to
also
that,
50. She's
she
60
should move
years
to that
old.
Bridget,
moves to West
wherever
Virginia.
Bridget Fonda lives.
Wherever that documentary is at.
yeah.
See how
Oh,
she's
the Wild
my
and
age.
Wonderful
She's
Whites?
57.
Justine-
She's a
oh, she's
fucking
57?
10 there.
She's a year older than I am, so that's what happens. That's why
knows?
we have technology that pulls your face back. And
She says she thinks about it, but she won't.
There's a really quick props to Brendan. I can't believe this happened. It was super cool. He actually bought his mother-in-law a freaking house.
this is
Wow.
Yeah.
Bucket list. Not too many people know this, but for the last 5 years, your boy has been saving every single dime from all my touring on the road for one reason only. It's a big goal for anybody. Whatever you're doing, whether you're in entertainment, podcasting, YouTuber, regular gig, whatever it is, your goal always is to buy your parents a house. My kids are going crazy right now. My kids are going absolutely crazy. The goal is always to buy your parents a house. Well, today, all that hard work, all those tour dates, all that stuff, it's come to fruition. I'm buying my mother-in-law a house. She's the best grandma in the world. She has no idea this is happening. She's gonna pull up the house. I'm gonna give her the keys. So
This is so
I wanna
cool,
thank the
dude.
fans out there for making this possible, buying every single ticket to all those crazy cities I was in. To the haters too, you motivate me more than you know. And I love you.
How'd
All
you
the
get her to
haters.
drive? Who your wife drove her up?
My father-in-law.
Okay.
He knew.
He
He
knew.
went through the process with me.
Dude, this
but
is so cool.
She had no idea. I
He's just saying, like-
I was saying, what if she didn't like the house? I was nervous.
I mean, that's yeah.
yeah, it's a fucking house.
Does she know? Does she know what's
She
going
has no
on?
clue.
yeah. She's like, I like the refrigerator door on the left, but it's great.
So it's a little small.
I always forget that she's a good-looking woman.
Yeah, she's a. This is your house. She has a thick girl shirt on.
Yeah. That's why you guys are filming. Oh. I love you so much. Should I have her?
That's so cool, dude.
That's what you get for being the best grandma. The key bothered me. It was like old. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Mira, mi
Just tied
Your skeleton key.
to- My son's
That's
holding
pretty
that
cool,
sign.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's super
Yeah.
dope.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't get anything.
No, there's a guest room for you, man.
Keep going.
I think you can stay in the guest room.
Did you ever see I thought it was funny. I don't know if it was supposed to be. It was like a comedian DC Young Fly bought his mom a house, but he got her like like a row house in a place. It was like 4 burners. Like everything was like still like on a basic level. I mean, it's awesome. Listen, you buy somebody a fucking
No,
house.
any house
it's
is
amazing.
cool, yeah.
And it's just funny. Usually when that video comes out, it's about like a pretty decked out
Yeah,
place. You know what I mean? It's
cool
like LeBron James buying his mom a fur car or something. It's never like.
Well, that's like The
it's never
Rock.
somebody
Fur
goes,
car.
yeah, he goes, yo, I just got you a Buick Enclave. That's rarely on video.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
that
like-
was like The Rock when he was like, the video starts kind of like mine, to be honest. And he's all, my body double, my stunt worker. He's been with me for 10
that's
years.
so
He's broken ribs. He broke his back. He's broke both legs. And today, I give him a Ford F-150.
He's sponsored by them.
Aren't you sponsored by him? Just this
he
basic
did it.
F-150.
He did it. He buys his 16-year-old son a Maybach. That shit made me feel bad about. I was just like, oh god.
I got you a
And then-
2-year
and then he-
subscription to All Things Comedy.
Yeah, and then
Thank
for Jennifer
you for always
Lopez,
being you.
For Jennifer Lopez's birthday, he released like 1,000 doves. All right, dude. That's not about you at all, is it? Yeah.
That's where social media fucks you up because you're seeing what people do. Remember that show on MTV, My Sweet 16?
Yeah.
It was like so outlandish,
Oh, yeah.
like so ridiculous.
Well, it's funny when you saw when they started doing the celebrity kids because you're like, wow, apple flowers fall from the tree. It was like isn't it CeeLo, like CeeLo's
Oh,
daughter.
yeah, her daughter.
Yeah, CeeLo's
It's him with a wig on?
She was like coming in like with a he's wearing a dashiki. Yeah. And we're like, why isn't hologram Outcast coming to my party?
Those kids were the worst.
Dashiki. Yeah, well, I have a whole bit about how the rich and famous should probably not have kids because it just ends up being a disaster.
It's a
I'm not gonna-
nightmare.
Yeah, it's hard to.
Well, it's the thing is like you do want your kids to like have everything better.
But you also
And
want
like,
them
great,
to
but you-
struggle if they don't have anything to struggle for.
I'm
not gonna
watching that.
work
But that
out
is the
well.
interesting thing with my daughter right now. Like, I get it. She's 20 and she's like, kind of wants to dick around, whatever. But like, she ain't no rush. Do you know what I mean? She's not worried. She's not like an idiot. So it's
Yeah.
like she knows she'll like get it.
But she wasn't like you
But
were
she
at
didn't
20.
feel like. Yeah, I did say I was like when I was 19. Like I knew I wanted to do this for sure, like comedy.
You want to get out of the house. Like, I wanted my independence.
Yeah. I was
She's like,
looking
I'm
to like,
chilling.
yeah. Well, she's out of the house. Like she got her own place.
But,
and
yeah,
everything,
it's
but,
just different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's like, she's not any kind of major rush to like figure out tomorrow's thing.
But I mean, you've been doing comedy for a hot second. When she was younger, like really in the I'd say they probably remember between like 10 and 14.
Mm-hmm.
Were you at the level you're at now, where like everything's all good? Like
No.
your Big J
Sure, make
selling
that
out?
up.
No. She did. It's funny. Like she's adapted to it well. Like she definitely. No, yeah, she remembers like our broke years for sure.
Yeah.
She was definitely there for the broke
That's
years.
important.
But what's funny is how fast she's taken to not broke years. Like
Yeah.
she'd be weirded out if I was like, I just got some last minute nosebleeds for this game. She'd be like, all right.
Yeah, my kids. I knew my kids. My kids. My son. I was like, "What do you want for your birthday?" And he didn't have anything he wanted. And I was like, "Man, I gotta."
That's not good.
That's not good.
I had
Yeah,
a
that's
list.
bad.
Yeah, I
I had
got
a
it's not
fucking
good.
list, dude.
I gotta do something bad to you now.
Yeah.
I gotta send you away or something. I don't know.
What else you got, Jen?
All right, so Jimmy Garoppolo recently signed with the Raiders, and then the thing on the headlines is
Bringing that sexy to Las Vegas.
Yep. So there's a brothel in Las Vegas where it said the brothel's saying he can get free sex for life, but there's basically these two girls from this brothel that are saying he can get free sex for life. It's a chicken ranch in Las
That's a good
Vegas.
deal.
That's one of them.
Does he have to tip though?
Okay.
Oh,
Her name's Caitlin Bell.
Okay.
And there's the other one,
oh,
Oh, well,
he's fine.
Alice Little. But yeah, Caitlin Bell is pretty smoking hot.
wait, which one's
Yeah.
that?
That's Caitlin Bell, the first one that
That
we
was the
saw.
first one up there. Yeah, but that's like
That's
There's
peak
a
everything.
little.
that one.
I bet this one's more fun.
Pixie girl.
She shits with the door open.
Yes.
This one, 30% chance guy.
She does have a bit of a masculine.
They have a strong face.
30%.
Strong face.
I look at Big J dentist. Yeah.
Strong bones.
Yeah, well, I
Strong
mean,
bones.
you go home still with her, but like the whole time you're going like, please don't have a cocktail out of here.
The temperature of
Or
skin's a little
do.
different. Yep.
30%
Yep.
chance.
Not hard, and I don't know why. Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo's probably like, all right, guess. Well, you was staying that porn star.
This was just maybe like what 6-7 days ago.
Yeah.
So
Here's
Tekashi
the-
6ix9ine at a gym got beat up.
So you know he snitched, right, John?
Yeah.
So the gangsters been looking for him. Apparently, he works out at this Planet Fitness every day for 20 minutes. He does the Stairmaster, which is why he's skinny fat, right? So he does that every day. So they found out his routine. Here's the worst part about all this.
His shorts?
That sucks. Get ready for this, dude. He got stomped out by guys wearing Crocs. It could have been way worse.
Oh my
but they're in
god! I didn't even
Crocs.
realize they were in Crocs. Is
Yeah.
it also just white guys?
I thought it was white guys too. I couldn't
Looks
tell.
like it was.
I don't think they're white, are they?
I mean, I thought
Maybe
this guy was
Latino
white.
of some sort.
Those are Crocs.
Yo, homie, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm a fan, bro.
Man,
I know he's dressed like a young Sarah Silverman. he's wearing like pantyhose under shorts.
So they just jumped him in the
in the bathroom.
I did.
You had no
Such a
security.
great-
with cameras running though.
I did such a great thing with Tekashi 6ix9ine on like not you know I knew like who he was visually. Ultimately, my daughter liked his music at one point, and then she didn't because whatever the snitching thing happened, and then they made that Hulu series documentary, 3 parts, and I watched the first 2.
That's
and while
great.
I don't love the music, there's some that I thought was like pretty cool,
Me
like
too,
what it
that's
is,
what I
the
was
way
like- his come up.
screams and shit. Yeah. I liked, and I also dug his thing. I liked that he was like, it shows he was like a kid. The guy who worked at the bodega on his corner was like, Danny, man, he used to come in all the time. He had this like weird artistic ideas for clothes.
He would always
and
tell
used to-
people he's gonna be a superstar.
but he made clothing and did all
Yeah.
kinds of things, and he would make videos for his stuff. He was just finding his way, and I appreciate this guy as an artist.
His hustle.
And then it shows him kind of like come up in the second episode, and I went on Legion of Skanks that night, and I was like, we should get Tekashi 6ix9ine for a Skank Fest. I go, that guy's the energy for sure of Skank Fest. Wild. It's like uninhibited. He goes for it, but it's like cool, and his things like artistic, and he's also like people come at him and blah blah. And then it's I'm like, we should definitely get this guy. Guys, Tekashi 6ix9ine is all right with me. And I went home that night and I watched part 3, and it was like he fucked a 13-year-old.
Yeah, to a
he
person.
tied his girlfriend to a radiator and beat the shit out of her. Like, oh God, I have to wait 6 days till I get back on Legion of Skanks. She goes, everyone, I may have spoke a little out of school.
He's a bad
Man,
guy.
jumped
Maybe
out.
not
I
a
didn't
big
watch
guy.
part 3.
I didn't finish the series. It's a great series,
Yeah,
though.
'cause
that's a
You
long
I
6
ended up
days.
rooting for him too. I was like, this kid's dope, man.
Dude, I did that with, I may have told you this before, Brian. I read Artie Lang's last book, The Crash and Burn, after I was working with Artie on a decent amount of gigs. He was taking me out with him. I felt this very big kinship to him for some reason
Love
from his
him, love
books.
him. Love him.
And I think that's what he does to people. He makes you feel that way, you know. And I like into a few months of like kind of doing some dates with him is when he stabs himself. And I was like, and it shook me. And then he came back and he was sort of back around and like, you know, I bullshit with him, but we never talked about this.
Yeah.
Just, you know, you okay and everything. He'd say, yeah. And then the book came out and I read the book. And one day when taking a shit, I just got to like the last like 2 pages, but I was done. Whatever happened, I had to go. And I was like, I'll finish them next shit. And I put the book down and I saw already that. Now in that book, early, I'm surprised how early it addresses it. It gets into him. It was like, he describes the whole story. He goes, I was out of my mind on drugs and I was trying to sleep because I thought like blah, blah, blah. So that's why I drank bleach. And I was, and I tried to make myself bleed. I was psychotic. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying. I wasn't trying to kill myself, which made me feel. The thing I felt when he did that, I was like, damn. I was like working with him a little bit, and like, you know, I've read this guy's books before. Like, maybe it's something I could have done, maybe to like talk to him or something. I don't know. It sucked. And then I was like, he said he's not trying to kill himself, and I was like, well, that's actually relieving. So when I saw him, I felt comfortable enough to go. Dude, I go, I'm almost finished the book. I got like 3 pages left. I go, I got to tell you, when I read it, I couldn't have been happier to see that like you weren't trying to kill yourself, man. And it was like just like a psychosis, because that really shook me when you did that. He was like, yeah, he goes, you didn't finish the book yet? I was like, nah, just a few more pages left. He was like, why'd you stop there? And I was like, well, that's just where I finished taking a shit this morning. He was like, okay. And his reaction was weird enough that I was like, I should go read those last 3 pages. I mean, right, like the second to last page, he goes, also, I lied earlier in this book. On the night of whatever, I was trying to end my life, and the most depressing thing, I was like, I was like, well, who puts a head fake in a book? It's the written word. It's not spoken where you change your mind at the end and you go, don't even worry about taking that other chapter out. We have a book quota. We have to hit a page quota. I'll just say at the end, he goes, that chapter was bullshit. I was just trying to kill myself. I read the whole thing. I was like, oh, thank God he was just trying to sleep. By putting sewing his knife 9 times.
Oh my God!
I was so sleepy. He was so sleepy.
Gotta finish the book. Gotta finish the surprise twist ending.
Yes, I mean the last page. He goes, sorry for lying.
What's he up to right now?
I don't know.
Is he cool to work with?
He was great, and then it was, you know, here's the thing. It was great, and then
first guy I ever went on the road with.
I was with him a couple times. Me and him had the same manager at different points. Ken Trush.
Yep. Is Ken still in the business?
No, I think he's just spending the money he should have just been doing when he was younger.
Yeah.
Just spending the money he got.
Yeah. From what, his family or?
Yeah. He's a trust fund kid for sure. I said Ken Trush was the manager. I have no gripe with Ken. I like him fine. It's all water under the bridge. But when I fired him, he told me I was talentless and going nowhere because I fired him.
Okay.
So he got a little emotional. I thought for what it was, and
you're just like, okay.
And I saw him. So one time we were driving up to Montreal. I think I got New Faces. Also gave me terrible advice for New Faces. It was like old school advice for something that wasn't happening anymore. Dress this way, talk about this. They want your sitcom.
No.
That days were over at that point. But driving up there, we stopped at the outlets or whatever, and I watched him like impulse buy like a $5,000-$6,000 watch. And I was like, okay. And we're driving up in a very fancy car.
That explains a lot, yeah.
And when when they did Chappelle Show season 1, Kurt Metzger was my roommate, and Neil Brennan sent Kurt Metzger all the scripts, and I like threw some little jokes into some of the things, or Kurt gave, told him that Jay gave a couple things. They gave me a line in one of the sketches on Chappelle Show season 1 before it came out, like before everyone knew how big it was going to be. And then I got a call the day before filming saying I've done BET's Comic View too many times without joining the unions, like the AFTRA and the SAG or whatever, and then I'd have to pay to join that before I can go on set tomorrow. And it was $1,200, which might as well have been a bazillion. You might as well still make a fictitious amount of money. I'm like, on me? I'm like, no, I don't have that. And then I remember like seeing what I could do, or if I could move it, or make payment. And also, now this is different too, I believe, but you couldn't make payments. It was you have to pay this all up.
That's right,
Christ.
you did.
And I was like, shit. And I remember calling Ken Trush, and I was like, hey man, I watched the guy spend $6,000 like on
Help me
I
out,
like that
dude.
watch.
Yeah.
I go, could you pay this and I'll just take it out of whatever the next gigs I do or whatever it is. And he was like, it's just, it's like one line on a late night cable show. I just don't think it's worth it. Let's wait till the gig like kind of pays for itself, And then we'll get you in SAG-AFTRA. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. I was like, you sure you can't just like, I'll get it back to you in any way I possibly can. He was like, yeah. No. And then it became the
It's a
Chappelle
shitty
show.
show.
It's also
And then it became
it's
the
also
Chappelle
the line where the kid jumps up when he's blind and black.
Yeah.
And he calls the car full of white kids the N-word. And he was like, you just call us N-words? Oh, I would have been
They're like,
that guy.
awesome. Yeah.
It's
You had a
so
line
bad.
in that, and then are you?
No, I didn't do that.
No, I'm saying, but
Yeah.
Could have been.
Could have
Could have
been.
been.
But then were you also, because we were laughing with Kreischer on here so hard. I think my brother told me it's your voice.
Yeah.
When we're laughing at, when he hits the button at the Holocaust
Louis
Museum,
CK thing?
and he goes,
He says it,
and he
yeah.
goes,
That's you?
Ninja. It's him.
Yeah.
I found out
That's the
after because
funniest
I was like,
fucking thing.
me and Bert were laughing because I go, imagine Louis doing that, man. It'd be so funny. Like,
Where
yeah,
were they in
record
that?
that.
They were in an art museum or something. What was the
Yeah,
sketch?
well, what's funny was Louis just was good to me, and he put me on that show every season in some capacity. And the third season was something I didn't want to. It was something. The joke was like shirt off, fat guy underwear, and I was like, "It's not me." And I don't think I was. I think I was like away also, so I was able to use that as an excuse more than like the. They didn't want to be a fat naked guy, but they wanted to get me something. So he was like, "Hey, would you want to do this?" And I was like, "Sure. How do I do it?" He's like, "Just go on your phone, voice memos, and record you saying it a bunch of different ways." And so I don't. It's gone. I don't know why it's gone, but on my phone somewhere there was like a thing.
Apple was like too much.
And
for
by the way,
cloud.
it's like the all different ways. You know what I mean? So you're like ninja, ninja. It's like all these different.
It was such a funny bit.
Funniest
Did
bit of
you
all
also
time.
do the scream and the meow and the moo?
No, no, none of that. I was just plugged it
Yeah, that
after.
was
That was
post.
I don't know.
man.
That was so shockingly funny. It was just
Fuck,
like,
it's
oh
funny.
my God, Louis C.K.
But it's hilarious. Everyone's worried about getting that Joe Rogan mega mix they make. I'm like, it's in my phone myself. I just recorded my own.
Yeah, I'll put it
My
on
own
myself.
mega mix of N words. But I promise you, it was for a production.
Yeah.
What else you got, Jen?
You want some more? We good?
We've been going a hot second.
We've been going hot second, yeah. And then,
Damn, at 3:50. Oh shit. It's
Yep.
almost, all right.
but Big
New
J's.
special dropping soon, my
New
man.
dog belly. New dog. Dog belly. Dog belly. Sorry.
Boy, you fucked that up.
Yeah.
So
Dog
my dog, it's
a weird writing.
Homeward Bound.
Yeah. Big Jay Oakerson set to release new Dog Belly comedy special on YouTube. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. April 5th.
Well, you've always been one of my favorites. I think.
Oh, man, you're
we've always
such
talked
a
about
monster.
it. You're one of
Yes.
the you're one of the great comics in my
So
opinion.
fucking
Oh,
funny.
thank you.
I've never
man.
seen you not be hilarious, so I'm looking forward to it.
I appreciate that. When I first went with Trush initially, like that was like so you and Artie Lang were both like clients, and I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then it turns out he doesn't know anything outside of like he was good for like sketch stuff, like acting stuff is what it was. I just needed stand up stuff.
Yeah, but not.
I was only interested in acting. Rogan would always be back then. Rogan was like, do stand up, do stand up. I was like, no, I want to be an actor. Do stand up, do stand up. I'd be in acting class. We got in fights, like
About
fucking
it.
at dinner. Do fucking this acting class. Get the fuck out of here. Start doing stand up.
What's your passion more for now? You
Stand up,
think?
100%.
Stand-up, of course, yeah.
Don't like acting. Never did like acting. Never been on a set where I didn't want it to be over. How about that?
Is that true?
Yeah, and that's the
Can I
truth.
tell you
It
something?
didn't come to that truth until it was-
Completely. I get shit a lot of time for that, especially with the agencies and stuff
Fuck
like that, where they're like, I go, dude, I was on set on Hustlers. I'm the strip club DJ. I'm in the movie.
Boring.
I'm in the movie for a cumulative minute. You hear my voice a couple times. I even have a thing where J-Lo gives me money.
Yeah.
I watched her do that. I introduced the dance she does in
Yeah.
that movie
Yeah.
where she looks amazing. And
Yeah. It's boring.
You on set for how
Cardi
long?
B, 3 days,
Yeah.
14 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I reflect on it even as all those, when I got to watch, like, yeah, they're like, you got to watch J-Lo do that dance. He goes, 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
And then it was like hot outside and too cold inside. Like,
Yeah.
I can go to a trailer that's not like, people go like, oh, the trailers are great. He goes, it's not Will Smith's trailer.
No,
It's a
no.
fucking
Yeah, it's a
I got news
room.
for you.
It's a
I
room.
started.
And I really just don't like it. Soder loves it. Soder does like it.
Not me.
So-
I started
Soder's
TV
good at it,
shows.
too.
Started them. I hated it. I never liked any of it. You're waiting all the time.
I want the day to be over.
Me and Johnny
always.
Leguizamo on ride along for I don't know how long, maybe whatever out, and it was a legit part. And John was there, and we were sitting there in the trailer. This is Johnny Legs. We're in the trailer, like fucking reading plays, playing, doing whatever we can. It's just sitting around waiting.
time.
You just wait.
I think
all
it'd be
day
different
long.
if like you did a comedy buddy movie like all your boys from Legion of Skanks. Like
It's
if it
possible
maybe it's
in that regard.
I
If it
don't
was like a
know.
low,
It's
like
still
kind of
long,
like a put out thing.
But
To
then
me,
the
it's
acting
more like
gets in the way. You're
to
just
me,
there
it's
to
more
hang
like I like like what Bert's doing. To me, was kind of the dream. When I went on those tours with the metal bands years ago, like opening for, I was always on production buses because I was just a solo comic on a music tour.
Yeah.
But being on that and becoming friends with like the band that was opening on that tour, 2 Cents. They're the band that plays all my specials. They always play the music for it. And I saw those guys go. That was their first tour on a tour bus together. Oh, and I was envious of that. I was like, I want to do that. Like my exact pick of friends.
Like the way Bert's doing
on a
it.
tour bus. Yeah, but Bert's got it's such a big production. There's
There's
so
like
much
3
like going on.
buses
It's
and
a
the
lot
whole
of things.
team.
I'm almost mean more just like
You and the boys.
me and the boys
Comics.
and a tour manager and a whatever and a PlayStation
Yeah.
and movie. You know what I
And
mean?
going around. Yeah,
the
that'd be
big
fun.
production's got a lot going on. It's
Yeah.
just like almost like a pressure to be like, hey, we have to have a big hangout at the end of every night and
And
stuff.
filming everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. And by the way, he's right and I'm wrong on like the amount you got to be putting out content. Bert's right about it, but
Bert's different.
But catching me on that was the funniest. I was like, remember standing in front of the bus one morning, just like, like in a tank, wife beater and basketball shorts. Like I just woke up, hair's all fucked up, and he was like, "Hey, you having fun so far?" I go, "Yeah, dude, this is absolutely incredible. Holy shit!" It's just like a folk. There's like a guy holding the thing.
Boom
And he
mic,
goes,
he's
yeah,
all-
like, were you guys all behind me this whole time?
We've been with you since you woke up.
I've been probably making noises outside. Boop,
Farting.
boop, 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 boop. Hey Jay, hey Bert. Oh, I didn't realize we were doing a 3-camera shoot.
And it was Avatar
Got 2 angles of my
production.
surprise. Yeah. I look down. I'm wearing all those nodes are all over me. I go, what?
all the notes.
Bert's just a
I'm
different,
hologramming all of us for a show.
Bert's just a different animal.
God bless him, dude.
If you good luck trying to keep up with that.
You're gonna
You're
be
in
at Spokane?
Spokane soon. Great fucking club.
I love that franchise of clubs, man.
I was just
You're
in
doing
Tacoma.
Nyack. You're at Nyack.
Yeah, so I'm
Levity
doing it.
Live,
It's right
baby.
the weekend of the special coming.
So
up.
you're in Spokane. Shit, this Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, no, Thursday. It's just Friday, Saturday.
Oh, my bad.
They got rid of that. That's
It says
a
Thursday,
mistake.
Friday,
Yeah,
Saturday.
it's a mistake.
Oh, is it just Friday, Saturday?
Yeah.
Do Magoobies if you're in Maryland, everybody.
Oh, I
done
love
Magoobies?
Magoobies.
You do?
Oh, I love
I love
Magoobies,
Magoobies. I keep telling them this.
I know, I-
Baltimore, it's fucking
this
dope,
weekend.
man. It's
Really?
a great room.
This weekend.
It's a
Okay.
cool.
It's a big, tall, like the ceilings are tall. It's fun. That's where that fight happened.
Yeah, no, I've done it before. Friday and Saturday,
Timonium.
March 31, April 1. All right, let's go. Then I got Helium, April 20, 22. And, well, look, Comedy Zone in Port Charlotte, Vasani Theater, May 4, 5, and 6. Let's go. All right.
All right, kids, love you. Ice House this Saturday. You won't be here, otherwise I'd invite you. Ice House this Saturday. Shopping Friends, one show only, 8 p.m. New Ice House. Then Atlanta is April 13th through the 15th. The Comedy Store La Jolla just went on sale. That's June 2nd through the 4th. And then I'm over across the pond, Belfast, Glasgow, Manchester, London, Cardiff, Dublin. Glasgow. Tickets at thickboy.com. Love you guys. Big J, go watch his special. Drops April 5th.
Dog Belly.
Indeed.
Dog Belly, you're one of the best doing it, man.
Thank you,
Thanks
man.
for stopping by, brother.
Thank you for
You're
having
the
me.
best.
So funny.